Welcome back, everybody, to Late Night of the Movies on the Late Night Chat Network, your first stop for pop culture talk. This is episode 62. I love you, man.
A modern day warrior, mean stride. Today's Tom Sawyer, mean pride. Though his mind is not for rent, don't put him down as arrogant. His reserve a quiet defense, writing out the day's events.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Today, we are going to be talking about and discussing the film I Love You, Man. This is episode 62, as I mentioned in the intro there, and this is JT's pick. And
lucky.
With that, take it away, JT. This is, of course, our movie review and discussion show where we go back and rewatch older films, do deep dive conversations and revisits on them. And yeah, go ahead, Jay. Let us know why this was your pick and why you made it.
It's because I love you, man. I strictly picked this pick for you, Nico. Honestly, no, Max. You guys, might all think it's Max in this category, but no. You know what? I did it for Nico. Honestly, I picked this pick. It came out in 2009, so it's been a long time. As you know, you can see if you guys have ever watched the movie that Paul Rudd and Jason Segel, which are the main characters for the most part, are really good at really young. Sorry, not really good at what they do. They are really good at what they do, but are really young in this one. And it's like it takes you back. It's like I had to take a nice, good rewatch of this after going to the movies to watch Friendship with Nico here. It just made me want to pick this movie. It was a big thing. We did a little mandate, me and Nico, because I love him, and it's just the way it is. But he doesn't, I don't tell him that enough. I just gonna let him not tell you guys about him on the movie show with you guys. But we'll have a good time. But I picked this movie because there's a great cast, and because of Friendship too. He did it with the Tim Robinson there, with which was a Saturday Night Live skit guy, and you get a few of the Saturday Night Live guys from the skits on here too, as well. As you get I'm on a boat, what's his name there,
Sandberg. Yeah.
I was gonna say Jesse Sandberg, but I didn't. That was close. Kind of reminds me of my brother. That's another reason I like that character. But honestly, nothing crazy about my history with this movie. I don't know about any of you, anybody else in here, but nothing crazy with that history. It was a funny movie to watch at the time. A lot of great scenes, good quotes coming up that we're going to be talking about for sure. Memorable ones, and an all around good story, good bromance, a good Pride Month movie to watch. Just for all of you guys out there. This is just to let you guys everybody know we love you, man. Right? So. I don't know about you, Nico, Julie. Anybody have any history with this movie? I know Julie's gonna shit on it, but it's okay. We love you, Julie, anyways. And Max, I'll even ask you too, since you actually showed up today. I was surprised, guys. I didn't think Max was gonna show up, but thank you, Max, for being here for one of my picks, because I know you like your bromance rom-com, whatever you want to call it, love movies. I know you love them.
Not as much as I love you, man.
He's a fan of man.
I'm a fan of that. Fan of this man in particular.
Michael Mann and this movie. I love you, man.
John Thomas, man.
John Thomas, man. I bet, but
go ahead.
Nice.
I just want to know who's anybody's got some. I know Nico is going to have a little bit of history with this movie, because we know this is his. Anybody that knows him that Paul Rudd is his man crush and always will be, and I can never steal him away from Paul Rudd. But maybe one day I'll try. But yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
He's the sex, he was the sexiest man alive one of those years. In
Was he
fact.
actually?
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he
Yes, he
won that
was.
award a few years ago.
Really?
Yeah, the man doesn't age. Anyways, which they made a joke about, and was it Wolverine Deadpool where they finally said that he's aging or something
yeah,
like
Paul
that?
Rudd, yeah.
Listen, yeah, Jay's right. Something you actually left out is that it's Men's Mental Health Awareness Month as well, right? So I think that this movie is important in the sense that, yeah, it's a comedy. It's a comedy during a great era of comedy. It's a comedy that's not directed by Judd Apatow, but is essentially a Judd Apatow adjacent film because it's during this era of the whole Apatow movies and all of these guys being friends and doing films with each other, all the Rogan guys. And literally at the same time, you kind of, I mean, even though they started before them, you got the Will Ferrell kind of movies happening still at this time as well. So like this is, and so I'm glad Jay picked this one only because like we really haven't represented many, if any, I think Apatow films on this channel, because comedies, it's way more interesting to talk about other films other than comedies, just because like there isn't much to kind of discuss in terms of plot when you talk about a comedy. You may even see that today if it's a quicker episode, that may be the case. But I think that like when you get into the comedies, obviously we're going to be talking a lot about a lot of great scenes, a lot of great quotes, which this film is chock full of. And yeah, this is part of an amazing run for Paul Rudd for comedies. And yeah, it's an important movie too, because outside of the fact that it is a comedy, it is about male friendship. And really isn't a lot of films like that. I mean, there is obviously a lot of movies where there is characters that are friends with one another, but a movie that focuses on the male friendship itself. And and the fact that it's important to some like friendship. Me and Jay, like, he kind of came up with this because we did recently go to watch that, and in the ad for Friendship they said it was "I love you, man," for weirdos or psychos. That's what he said.
Psycho.
So we're like, oh, we got to go watch this because Paul Rudd's returning. But the funny part about that movie was and we talked about this, I think, on Late Night Letterbox when we were talking about a review of the film, me and Jay. It was flipped. There was roles reversed. Like, it was more Paul Rudd being the guy that was the cool guy that the Tim Robinson character wanted to be friends with, and that had no friends, which I guess if you guys know him or his comedy shouldn't come as a surprise. But then at the same time, it's like the film then, though, it kind of just became a vehicle for Tim Robinson at a certain point of that movie. Whereas in this movie, Jason Segel is equal parts, if not honestly, an even bigger part of this movie. Like I'm jumping ahead a little bit here, guys, but honestly, like a hot take is Jason Segel steals the show in this movie. As much as I love Paul Rudd, I love Jason Segel in this movie, and he was always kind of peppered into these Apatow films around this period of time, like because he was friends with these guys. But I think that if he didn't have the issues that he had, for anybody who doesn't know, he had like alcohol abuse issues, like stuff like that. Like he, after all those years on that comedy,
Freaks and Geeks.
No, Freaks
How I
and
Met
Geeks,
Your Mother?
How I Met Your Mother.
Yeah.
After at the end of that run of doing that show, he said by the last season, he was doing coke and drinking a lot.
Whoa.
A lot of the stuff that that he now has talked about as a character on the show Shrinking was actually relevant to his life.
Oh,
like
wow.
so I'm happy to see that he's had the success recently for himself, like playing on that show as that character. But I just think he would have had such a better comedy career in films and or TV during this period of time after this movie if it wasn't for some issues that he was having, right? So at least from the stuff that I've read up on, like he had to get clean and everything after maybe around this time of this film or after. No, sorry, a few years after this movie, actually. This is probably before all that started happening in this movie. I just think that he would have been an even bigger. He's great in this movie. That's basically what I want to say. Like I love Paul Rudd. Dickie said he's my boy. This is an amazing Paul Rudd run during this period of time, but Jason Segel is equal parts, if not better than him in this movie. I just want to, point that out right at the start. I revisiting this because it's been a while. It's never been more clear to me. Like Paul Rudd's fantastic, but he's the glue that holds this whole thing together in this film for me. So,
well, this Jason Segel, he it's like the early years. He basically plays his lifestyle in the movies, in the TV shows that he's in. It really is. If you think about it, it's almost like a continuation of his lifestyle. I noticed that with him by watching this movie, would have probably been like the earlier years. He still had that sort of, the way the way he talked and stuff like that, as he does in The Shrinking. But maybe as a friend, as a buddy back then, because in this movie, because he's younger, right? But yeah, no, I do, like, I'm with you, and I said they're probably equal stars too in this movie. I don't know about if better. I think Paul Rudd's character is kind of funny, but yeah, we get into that.
Yeah, Paul Rudd. I know I kind of jumped the gun with my hot take there, but it's just like that was the one thing that stood out to me kind of upon this revisit. Because, like I said, my love for Paul Rudd is, like you said, you already put it on display at the start of this episode. I think he's great. I think he's hilarious, and he's great in this movie. I just think that it was nice revisiting Siegel at this time, because I feel like we haven't, like, between this and like Forgetting Sarah Marshall, like this guy had some big comedies, man. Like, and people forget because I don't think he did a bunch for a while there, and then now, like you said, now he's doing Shrinking. He's doing Apple TV. He's on television now. He went to the route of TV the last few things I think I've seen him on, which is a shame. I just think he was really great in a lot of films. Like Julie just mentioned, Freaks and Geeks. Like that was the first thing they did with Apatow. All these, like a lot of these guys, not Paul Rudd, but like the Rogan guys, essentially. So like that's I love this clique of people. Like I think that era ended with This Is the End. Like once that movie came out, that was kind of towards the end, literally towards the end of the whole Rogan kind of run that he had, I feel like, for those type of comedies. And now, and like we were just talking about it earlier on one of these shows, like the studio now, like again, Rogan went to TV. The last couple of things that he also does movies, but he does a lot of TV stuff now. So a lot of these guys have found themselves on TV, and that's where comedy kind of has been, I feel like, thriving in comparison to films these days. So I want to point this out. I just think it's an important movie during this period of time. And there's so many good comedies that I love during these years. So I watched
this time period.
So my history with it is I watched this as soon as it came out. I'm pretty sure I've seen this in theaters. And like, like you, Jay, you mentioned before, like me and Peter, when we used to live with each other, and Jesse and all them, like we used to throw out quotables from comedies and films that we liked a lot around. And this is one of those. This is a very quote. Slapping the bass became like a joke we would just throw out all the time. Yeah, we were dying at this. And then people would compare our friendships to the guys in this movie, because I feel like even in the lexicon, like in society, people were like, oh yeah, bromances. Like it became like a big thing around the time of this film, because like I don't think anybody really put a lens on it the same way that this movie did, where they're like, with the whole mandate talk and everything else that they do in this movie. But it's true. Like with guys, it can be awkward to make friends, right? It's like, and as you get older, it becomes more difficult and you lose a lot of your friends, right? So this whole thing is examined in this movie amongst all like the craziness that happens. So I kind of like it for that reason too. So yeah.
Can I ask, you might have said it, but where does this Paul Rudd like thing like come from? Like where does it come from? Like what was the first thing that like made you go, this is my guy? Like
this is one of the movies.
It started with I Love You Man. Oh wow.
If this isn't the start, no, Anchorman for sure.
Oh yeah, he
Anchorman for sure.
He was an Anchorman. He was in all those, man.
But that's the thing. You couldn't throw a rock. Like you threw a rock, you hit like 5 movies a year around this period. Like at least 2 to 3 movies this guy was in. Like this, like I can pull up his IMDb. Like his run during this time is every comedy he came out with. I watched and enjoyed. Like so, even like a lot of like the deeper cut stuff, I feel like he's done that I've seen. I've literally seen it all. I've enjoyed everything he's been in. So that's why at a certain point where I'm like, man, I love this Paul Rudd guy. This and Role Models. Role Models was a huge one for me too. Me and Jesse and Peter actually seen that in theaters together, that movie. And that was one of the funniest.
I can't imagine that.
Oh man, Role Models, he's such a dick in that movie. I love it. Like that's my favorite Paul Rudd, is the sarcastic, dickish Paul Rudd, because most of the time he plays like the good guy. Like even in this one, he like oh yeah, I'm a good guy. But that one, he's such an asshole in Role Models. Like it's great. And he's playing opposite Stifler. What's his name? Sean William Scott.
Exactly.
Who's also a dick in most movies. So
most movies.
It's great. Like it's so those are probably my 2, that Anchorman and this, I think, were like the start of like probably my major love for him in comedies, like probably. So and Julie, Max.
Julie, do you want to go first or
no? Go ahead.
So I do remember I do remember like the time that this movie came out. Like I remember seeing like the TV commercials for it or whatever, like the trailers for it and whatnot. But I didn't end up seeing it in theaters. I ended up seeing it a few months after it came out because I think we had like a Bell box or whatever, like those Bell cable boxes. And so we actually had like HBO, and they mentioned HBO, and
Yeah.
like I think we had like the movie network and some of these like higher, like these kind of premium movie channels and stuff that would get like that would play these movies like much earlier than basic cable or whatever. And so I remember seeing this movie like maybe like 5 or 6 months after it came out. And whenever those types of channels get those types of movies, they end up playing them like a shitload. Like they'll play them like a couple times in a week and stuff. So I might have seen this movie like 3 times in like the span of 2 weeks or something. And yeah, I liked it. I around the same time I was a fan of How I Met Your Mother, and that's actually probably the driving force for me wanting to see this, because I did like Jason Segel. I think like me and maybe a lot of people, Neil Patrick Harris was like our favorite character on that show, but like Jason Segel was like right behind him. And then in hindsight, I think Jason Segel has sort of
No one
blossomed.
like Ted Mosby.
No, that guy's and if you rewatch that show, it is like
He's
so
the biggest weed
he's
of
the
all
biggest
time.
asshole. Like I'm like, and but you know what? That's often in sitcoms, the main character
Yeah,
nobody
just
likes.
like Friends,
Or even Seinfeld, almost like not that we didn't like Jerry, but like the other cast.
Seinfeld, I would argue everyone's horrible, equally horrible. Like,
But I would say like the other cast is like
in a good way.
outperforming the shit out of him.
Yes,
like you know what I mean? That's what I kind of mean.
He's the straight man.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's a perfect straight man. And Ted Mosby was like that same kind of character. But it's so funny, like you know, fast forward 2025, I would say I don't even think it's really much of a debate that Jason Segel has had the most successful like post career out of all those people on that show.
On that show,
yeah, on that show, he's
I
definitely had.
thought you meant out of this movie, because Paul Rudd is definitely the
No,
biggest.
Paul Rudd. Yeah, because Paul Rudd's on Marvel too, so that's I'd probably give it to Paul Rudd.
Yeah.
But
yes, out of that show,
he only plays a small part. Hey, he only plays a small part on Marvel. I mean, a small person.
And yeah, didn't right.
But
yeah,
I
like
didn't throw a joke in there. Sorry.
Jason Segel, but Jason Segel's interesting because he kind of had like people knew him from Freaks and Geeks, and then even during How I Met Your Mother, he was coming out with those movies, Forgetting Sarah Marshall and all that stuff, which is like another favorite of mine. But yeah,
what's funny is those movies the movies that you just said. I've watched them, but the actual like TV sitcoms, How I Met Your Mother and shit, I've never watched. So I couldn't
like that show.
Even though
tells
I'm a
me you
TV
like
guy.
that show.
Yeah. I there's a lot that I probably would have liked that you guys watched. I just never got into.
Especially since I know you like Friends, right, Jay? You always talking about Friends, yeah. So I think you would like How I Met Your Mother. But I think it was like I had seen Role Models first. Role Models was my introduction to Paul Rudd. I never knew who this guy was. I don't think I had seen Anchorman at that time, and he doesn't really play
He's
that.
He's been around a long time. He's in one of the Halloween movies. He's in Clueless.
He's in an effing Super Nintendo commercial. Did you see that one? That iconic Nintendo commercial.
He's been around a while. He was on Friends.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, Phoebe's boyfriend. Yeah, he was on Friends. Yeah, I remember that.
He was around a while, like before he like really kind of broke out. Like, he was around.
But I think Role Models was like my first. Okay, like I could assign a face and a name to this guy, and that was the first sort of instance of him. And I'll be honest, Role Models is a good movie, but I think I like this one more just because I feel like this one is more lighthearted. Role Models is kind of dark. It's a little
That's
bit.
What I like about it.
Role Models is very, very like it's a very nasty movie at times. You know, and I think I Love You Man is more like
it's
more hard.
It's more
exactly.
Safe. It's more safe.
It's a good time. Like this is a heartwarming movie. I feel like it's impossible to be in a bad mood after you see this movie. It's such a pleaser. It's like a crowd pleaser.
Yes.
And so that's what I really, really like about this one. And yeah, it's a good one. It's remained. I think I'd say it's a classic. You know, I don't know how involved Apatow, if he is at all in this movie. Did you check? Like, I don't know if he produced this. I know he didn't direct it. I don't know if he is a producer or executive producer or whatever. But this definitely feels like of his comedy, of his like genre, sort of like his style of comedy.
So the guy that did do this movie, he has a lot of big comedy like movies under his belt though. But I was looking for a producer credit. I didn't see it earlier, but I'll take a look.
I don't know. Like my only question was like, is Judd at all involved in this movie, or is he like is this just inspired by because it's clearly inspired by Judd's comedy.
Yes.
But I think personally, I think this is of that era that you're talking about, that era that we can sort of identify as like that Apatow era where he was coming out with all these bangers. I think this is like a B level movie of that. Like, I don't think it's the creme de la creme of like
I would probably
super bad
I would
and all that
probably
stuff.
agree with you, but
Yeah.
that's only because there's so many good movies
Exactly.
of those movies at that
like
time.
the ones that I would put Forgetting Sarah Marshall at the top.
I probably would put that above this too.
Yeah,
I
me
love
personally.
this movie, but that movie's
That movie's a masterpiece.
40-year-old virgin I
Well,
put above
Absolutely.
this.
Like-
Super bad I put above this. Yeah.
Like there was sort of like the top, and this is just like one level. Like this is like a B level. Like to me, like
I almost don't even want to call it a B level. I
Yeah.
know what you're saying.
yeah,
I agree
like,
with you.
I think it's just one tier
I love
below
this.
those classics. It's like a moderate classic, I would say. Like that's how probably a way I would.
This
categorize it.
is a 5-star for me. Like on
5-star?
Letterboxd, this
Okay.
is a 5-star banger for me
Okay,
for
okay.
sure. It is. It
Oh,
is.
for
It is.
sure.
I
When
would
it comes to
say a
movies,
little Paul Rudd bias, maybe.
Yeah, no, but like I said, Seagulls are great in this movie too. No, but all those ones we just mentioned are the same. Like for me, 5-star movies. Like but I agree. All those that you mentioned are better. That I would put above this.
And yeah, Jason Segel, like you said, is great in this movie. You know what? I'll save this for the likes and dislikes. The thing I was gonna say, but go ahead, Julie, because I've been talking a lot.
First of all, how fitting that JT and Nico's heads are on the poster right where they should be.
That's how I did it.
Yeah. Oh my god, I just noticed that. And we're like
Yeah.
the dicks, basically. Me and Julie.
Yeah. And also, just a comment from
Yeah.
earlier,
I'd
Rob
probably
is
rather
going
be-
to love how we opened the show.
I was about to
I
say.
would say you should have been on here. Like,
That's the only
I
time that
asked them.
song will get played on here.
Yeah.
well,
by the
I
way,
asked
this is
him,
the
I said,
first.
did you ever
this
watch this
Is
movie?
my introduction to Rush. I didn't know what the hell they were until this movie, and that was like, I think for a lot of people, honestly, like not maybe like
Trailer Park Boys had Rush on it early
Yeah.
too. Like
I
they
never
were-
watched. I never
Yeah.
watched Trailer Park Boys.
My first exposure to Rush was during Guitar Hero.
Yeah, that's fair. Guitar
Yeah.
Hero 2, I think had I think
Yeah.
so. I think it was 2 that had it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
YYZ
I'm
was
just
on.
I'm just into the music. I've been doing it for a long time. I've heard Rush, even like with like I'm
Yeah,
old, like
I don't
Rob. So
understand the Rush hatred that's
They're
bubbled
fine.
up. Like I don't know. I mean, I guess they do. I later on you found out they had like a super diehard like cult fan base, which
That's-
hey, I appreciate
Well,
when anyone
That's
has
the
that.
thing, though. I think it's more that
Yeah.
bugs most people than anything is that you either love them or you just can't just think they're over.
I
You feel
remember.
like-
You
Hey,
guys ever see that movie?
it's like the Nickelback of rock.
Remember? Yeah,
Sorry,
Nickelback,
older
yeah.
rock
Remember,
music.
Nickelback is the Nickelback of rock.
No, I'll be the classic rock, like more. That's what I'm saying. Sorry.
Okay.
I remember in Fanboys, like they had like in the truck that they were driving, they only had Rush, like a whole cassette
Because
thing
it's
of
a
Rush.
nerdy band.
Yeah,
Like,
and then they're like, you have anything
Everybody
like?
knows that.
Do you have anything like more? I forget the line. It was like, do you have any variety or whatever? And they're like, Rush is variety. They only have Rush cassettes, like 50 of them, and they're like, yeah, we're just jamming out to Rush. That's
Yeah.
it. Like,
guys like Rob get them tattooed on him. All right, that's all you need.
hey, by the way,
asked
from
him if he watched
Toronto,
this movie.
so salute to them, and also Neil Peart, rest in peace. He is a great drummer.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
This
They
was
are
Neil
great. They are
Peart's only film credit.
Whose only film credit?
Neil Peart.
He was in this
Wow.
movie.
Yeah, when they're playing in the
Yeah,
car.
at
Oh
the end.
yeah. Well, that doesn't really. But
Yeah, there's no lines.
Oh,
right?
because I guess it's the rest of them that are in Trailer Park Boys. He's not in
Mhm.
Trailer Park Boy. That's right. Yeah. Okay, so you're
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that I was in the same camp as Max, that way back when, and when everybody had Android boxes before they were called that. That would have been when I first saw this movie. So it was like after theaters, but before it was released to like cable or whatever.
Right.
So I would have seen it, same thing, where it was just like it was one channel on that box all fucking day for like 2 weeks, and I probably saw it like 4 times in that span. But yeah, I hadn't gone back to revisit it or rewatch it since then. And I was trying to think of what my first exposure to Paul Rudd was, and I think it would have been 40-Year-Old Virgin.
Mhm.
I don't know then. Maybe I don't know. Did that come out after this or before this?
Before, I think.
Yeah, so that would make sense, I guess. If it came out afterwards, then I guess I would say that was like the first time that I took notice of him as an actor. And what was the other point I was gonna make? We're talking a lot about role models. I didn't see that movie until this year in January. That was the first time I saw that movie.
It's great, right?
I think I need a rewatch, but yeah, it wasn't bad.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say like a little bit of a tangent, but my favorite part of that movie is the Jane Lynch's character, how she always brings up like her crack addiction,
Coke,
her coke addiction, and what she was doing. Like, oh my god, it was so funny.
So yeah, I think that this is like it's a good movie. It's a good comfort movie. Like you guys were saying, like you kind of can't go wrong. You can put this on and it's like a feel good movie. It's like a good like background movie to me. It's like put that on when you're like working on stuff or whatever. It's a feel good movie, like you said. But yeah, this is definitely like reminiscent of that era of like Judd Apatow and his ilk, and like it's very much fitting for the time period when all of those comedies were popping off. So it's very like nostalgic for that era.
It would be that style. I mean, it would be good to do that style and stick with that kind of style of movie, even if it didn't have a credit from Judd Apatow, right? Because I mean, really, at the end of the day, if this is the type of movie that was selling back in the early 2000s, then you know what? Why not stick with it? Roll with it if it works, right? And
I also don't
it was a different style.
I don't remember this movie like breaking like the box office at all, but like holy shit, what a fucking cast. Like half the Marvel universe is in the movie.
Well, it's because like a lot of these people were like on the come up at this time though. Like they weren't like Rashida Jones wasn't that big at this time. Paul Rudd wasn't that big. Jason Segel wasn't that big. Like J.K. Simmons, you know what I mean? Like there is a great cast. Fucking the old Hulk is in this. Lou
Ferrigno. Aziz is in this. Fucking there's like a Jay Chandrasekhar fucking cameo. He doesn't have any lines. He's just like in the background of Poker Night. And I'm
Favreau's in this.
John
like
Favreau's
the best. Favreau's the best. He doesn't have to say much, but everything is just quotable that comes out of his mouth.
Yeah, like listen to this run. Hold on. So it's in 2004, and I'm just there's other things in between here, but like 2004, you got Anchorman. 2005. This is Paul Rudd. You got 40-Year-Old Virgin. 2005, the next year, and again, there's lots of things. I'm just mentioning like the really good ones here. Knocked Up 2007. He's in. Honestly, a sneaky under the radar one, but Walk Hard, the Dewey Cox story is just fucking hilarious. I don't know if you guys ever seen that one. Forgetting Sarah Marshall in 2008, Role Models in 2008. This guy came out with Forgetting Sarah Marshall. He was in Role Models in 2008. I Love You Man in 2009. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and it goes from there. Like, it's just like, this is the end. Yeah, all the way, like I said, this is the end of 2013. He has a small bit role in that one, but like, this is just that era, man. Like Anchorman 2, which wasn't as good, but yeah, he was like in a lot of big comedies during this period. That what I consider the best of comedies, honestly.
Yeah, like Nick Kroll was in this. A young Nick Kroll too. That's another one. Yeah,
Thomas Lennon, Andy Samberg, fucking the other guy that's in Brooklyn Nine-Nine, Joe Trulio.
Yeah.
The pictures now don't do them justice, like from what they look like back then, right? Yeah, and this is how you remember them, right? Like John Favreau. Do you ever see him? He looks kind of like me with the fucking beard, with its white hair and black hair, and he's getting old. He doesn't look like that. He's not. He doesn't have a problem. Well, he probably has a wife like that he did in this movie, but yeah. So.
Oh yeah, Paul Rudd's also in Wet Hot American Summer, which was like a cult classic hit. That one, 2001. Yeah, he's in a lot of things.
White Hot American Summer.
Yeah, you ever seen that?
Hot American Summer.
Wow. Oh, that's just a nice long title. I don't know. Maybe I wouldn't have picked it for that reason. Right. So.
I never saw that.
But yeah. You never seen that one? So what did you think of this one?
It was good. That's what I said.
Yeah, all right. So okay, that's it.
It's a
But I
good.
mean,
It's a
it was
background
fun.
movie. It doesn't garner any critical acclaim for me, but it's a good movie.
It's a good like yeah. Let's say okay, background now if you're gonna
But you know
rewatch it,
what?
but to watch
I
the whole
mixed
movie in one shot, it's good.
I mixed up. So when I was like thinking about the plot of the movie, I was trying to explain it to someone. I was like, I mixed this one up. I like remembered the movie and I remember the cast and I remember that stuff. But like when I was thinking about what the plot of the actual movie was, I mixed it up with another movie. I mixed it up with fucking You, Me, and Dupree.
Oh my god.
I mixed it. I was like, I think it's like a guy that like moves in with these two people that are getting
Yeah, yeah.
married, and like, yeah, I totally
I
fucked up
hate
the
that
plot
movie.
before I watched it.
And it's directed by the Russos, by the way.
It's fine. I mean, it's
Who went on
not.
to
It's
that
not.
movie was
It's not
directed by
great.
the people who would end up directing Avengers
Yeah, it's
Endgame.
not. It's not great, but it's okay. But
I don't like
some
that
of the
one.
other credits that this guy got for directing, the guy who did this, he did that Why Him movie, the one with James Franco.
Oh yeah,
and,
that's another one.
Yeah, he did Little Fuckers.
Oh,
He
nice.
did some bad ones actually.
That's like the worst one in the trilogy.
I know. What else did he do here?
Josh Hamburg, right?
Yeah, not too much actually. This is like I think the best thing he's done, to be honest.
Along
with you.
Came Polly is fire. Along Came Polly is a
He wrote
classic.
that. He didn't direct it, but he wrote it. Yes, I think he was the
No,
writer on it,
Oh,
right?
he directed
Did he
it.
direct it?
And he wrote Zoolander. What the fuck?
I
And
didn't
Meet
see
the
that.
Parents?
I'm looking at a list here. Hold on.
Yo, this guy's a legend. What the hell?
Yeah. Oh, I take it back. Yeah, I didn't get to that stuff.
Along Came Polly is a fantastic.
I
I
love that
movie.
one. Yeah, White Chocolate.
Rest in peace, Philip.
Oh yeah, and he also wrote on the series Undeclared a bit, which is like a old TV show that's kind of like during the Freaks and Geeks era that was starring what's his name Jonah Hill, I think was on
Bro,
that
he
show.
wrote Zoolander and Meet the Parents.
Zoolander's great.
And Meet the Parents.
Yeah, and Meet the Parents.
Those are fantastic scripts.
So he's got some credits.
Yeah,
I take it
this
back.
guy-
he
this
wrote.
guy
He didn't
is
direct them though, right?
Still impressive.
Yeah.
That's
I'm
still
just saying.
impressive.
So he's involved in some good comedies. Actually,
That's
we
it,
didn't
you can
even
write
talk
a
about
comedy.
it. We talked about the Will Ferrell, but part of the Will Ferrell kind of camp as well, though, is the Stiller movies during this time as well, right? Like they did a lot of Vince Vaughn, Stiller, and
Yeah,
him.
the frat pack,
yeah,
right, as
yeah,
they're
yeah,
referred
those
to.
guys. So can't forget about those guys. We're going to be talking about that era movie because those
And
are.
I guess this is the generation after them, right?
And this is also the generation after the Sandler guys because Sandler
Exactly,
crew
yeah.
This
was
is
also,
some of these guys are moving into that generation of writing and directing their own stuff now. Like a lot of these guys, like the guys that came from Saturday Night Live, maybe around this point, yeah.
I think this was the last great wave of this kind of stuff, though. Like we just mentioned, we
Yeah.
have the Sandler people, like the SNL kind of spin-off kind of
Yeah.
people, because we mentioned like there was all the Sandler era guys. Then there was the Will Ferrell
Vince
stuff.
Vaughn.
Yeah, Vince Vaughn and
Vince Vaughn and them.
Ben
But
Stiller,
that's
all
when
those
Will
guys.
Ferrell era.
And he
Yeah.
had all the Rogan guys, Apatow guys. So like there
Yeah.
was, I think now that you don't really have any big groups like that.
Yeah,
honestly. Like
that's-
it's like it's not the same. I feel like now, at least not guys that I recognize as like
or at least guys that didn't make
clicks like this.
like a impact that made
yeah,
like any sort of.
yeah. Like I don't know who the next
I think
guys
it's all.
are
I
gonna
think it's
be.
all TV now. Like
Yeah.
you said, like it'd be like Eric Andre and what's that guy?
Vince
Tim?
Vaughn's doing mostly TV now. He does a movie here and there. All these guys still do movies
Yeah.
here and there, but
Mhm.
it's not like it was back then. Comedies
No.
aren't bankable, like they aren't profitable like they used to be anymore.
It'll never
right?
be like
It's-
the worst
So,
Well, I think it's the whole movie, the whole movie thing in general, bro. It's just it's not. I mean, that's a whole nother discussion. But I just think it's more easy to make money doing TV shows now than it is to do movies because most people just they don't go and see theaters anymore, right? I mean, there's a few this year I know for sure I'm going to go to see, but I mean, other than that, really, there's not much. It's hard you get the big bangers unless they're Marvel stuff or unless they're
right.
um, with crazy stars in it. But other than that, you don't really get to see it that much, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So or now the new DC stuff coming up too. That's going to be all interesting. So we'll see how that works. But with this movie, I mean, I personally think it's full of like now here quotes and stuff like that and scenes that we're going to be talking about because I mean, I don't think the movie's done anything incredibly wrong or right. I don't know if you guys have thought like anything like that. I think it just made it so like it's fun to watch something they have to rewatch and remember that friends are friends. You need friends. If you don't have friends like you guys, fuck, you know, what's worth it? What's it worth, right? What's it all worth?
How many of us
Uh,
have them?
I will. Yeah, look at your friend. He showed up to the show, even though he said he wasn't gonna because you cried so much about missing your pick all the time. There he is.
Yeah. Eh?
Listen, for likes, dislikes, the only other thing I wanted to add to kind of like what I've already said with my intro there is that I think that this movie did a really good job of capturing some like authentic archetype, like types of people, like in relationships and in life. Like just like how the way people talk to their wives and husbands, like how men and women talk to their friends, certain types of people you may know that are in relationships. Like Jason Segel plays like
Brothers.
the non-committal kind of like cool guy, you know what I mean? Like, and like, then you got your hopeless friend who just can't find the right guy as her friend in this, essentially, that's always bitching about like, different men and stuff, like how there's no men out there that are good like the one that she's with. The couple that's constantly fighting and then having, makeup sex. These are all like just versions. I feel like of Favreau is great at it.
He's my favorite thing about this movie by far. Like he's
no,
so
but
good
there's
at
that he literally
He's
is
so
playing
good at
a guy. Like the whole thing with guys that are in relationships, and then you may be with somebody and they have a friend and they try to like if they get together and you're with them. And then you have to try to play nice with the other guy. If you guys have nothing in common, like it's tough sometimes.
Yeah,
like,
but
it's like,
John Favreau is just a dick. Like
no,
he's just
he
like
is,
he's going out of his way
but that's
just to
how
be
it
an
is
asshole.
sometimes. Sometimes it's just like I don't even care about this guy, but I'm forced to like hang out with him. Like that was him, like at the poker like party.
You know,
right?
a part
John
of
Favreau's doing it just to have a hot wife in this one.
Yeah.
That's all it was, right? Like so
I
he
love
can.
that he walks in, he's got like the toothpick and
Yeah.
Yeah. She's she's
I love when they're
inviting him
always
in.
like when he's always talking to his wife and he's like making these like the negotiations
Yeah.
of like the sexual
Yeah.
favors.
Yeah.
She's gotta
About the
do
sex,
for him.
yeah.
It's great.
It's the funniest shit.
Like,
ever.
like we don't do that category anymore in terms of like the best like small part cameo. That he's the best.
He
in
is the
this. Actually,
best.
he would get that award if that was the case.
If
Yeah.
they were to make a sequel to this movie, I kind of would like it to be about John Favreau's character. Like honestly, like I just think that's a home run.
But there's that. The guy that only has like friends that are girls, like that's an actual guy. I've known guys like that. Like his friends are mostly all women. Like that's what I mean. Like these are actual. Like you may think this is just a goofy
Like people
comedy.
in real life.
No, there's a lot of real life.
There's a
shit
lot
in
of
this,
real
for
life
real.
kind of people in this movie. Like I said, archetypes of like different types of people like in life. Like because I recognize some of the stuff that was in this film for people and situations I may even be familiar with in that sense, right? Like it's so
Which is, I think, honestly, what Apatow brought to the game was this whole like comedies being like relatable,
Right.
like midlife crisis type,
but also with some
situations
heart in it, which is kind
yeah,
of what's in this
with some
film as well.
drama and some
And another ongoing theme with Apatow's films was at the end of them, it's like, oh, I got to grow up now. Like
Yeah.
all of his movies were like 40-Year-Old Virgin or like, oh, I got to get out of this phase of all this nerdy shit. I got to like actually buckle down and like find a woman for myself and everything else. And like, so many of his movies are like that. Knocked Up. All fun and games are over. I have to get serious and become a dad now. No, it's true. But like all of his movies, there's a lot of his movies that by the end, it's like the fun and games are over. And like now it's just like, I need to grow up. Like this is the growing up stage of my life, which, some of us are still struggling with.
I think he.
I thought I was gonna mess you guys up. I thought I was gonna mess you guys all up by thinking that after 8 months I was gonna I'm going out there looking for a best man. That's what it was gonna bring to this picture of this movie and why I brought it here. But no,
just your narcissism showing it because no one was literally thinking about you or any of that stuff you just mentioned. But okay, yeah, let's just go with that.
It's it. We'll just roll with that.
A part of me was like curious if you did pick this for like Pride Month because there's some like not to say that this is a gay thing, but this is some like
there's gay people in this movie. I mean, not real gay people, but like people that are playing gay people. There is the bromance kind of part of it. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, there's themes, I guess.
I do have some likes and dislikes about this film. First off, because watching this, I can't remember the last time I saw this movie, but it must have been a couple years ago. But watching it, because when you do it for like a podcast or whatever, you analyze it a little bit more with a finer eye or whatever. And I have to say I do actually really like Paul Rudd's performance in this movie. Like the way he like comes across as like an awkward guy, and like he nailed that aspect of his like character and stuff, and how he's always just like blurbing out like nonsense words that don't mean anything, saying things that
Yeah.
he doesn't even
So, like,
understand why
yeah,
he's saying them. Like
nervous.
he's nervous. Yeah, he's nervous. And so I thought he nailed that aspect of it. And I never really like gave much like praise to him. It's always like you say, like Jason Segel is kind of like the standout, but no, I think Paul Rudd is really, really good in this
He's
film.
great in this movie.
He's
yeah.
really good. No, he nailed his like character. I will say the one thing I don't like about this movie, and it's what I don't like about actually a lot of comedies of this era and the whole like Apatow. This is like the Apatow style. The drawback to me, and this movie does have that, is these movies, they're too like, sometimes characters will have these conversations and they don't mean anything, and they're like so pointless, and they're so like what like why is this in a movie? Like, so like for example, one scene that like like to give you an example is when he starts making out with his wife, and his wife is like, your mouth stinks, you smell like an ashtray or
Oh, I
whatever,
love
right?
that scene.
And then he's like,
Me too.
he's like, you wouldn't mind. She's like, you wouldn't mind brushing your teeth for me, would you? And then he's like, yeah. I'll mouthwash. And then she's like, try Tums. And I'm like, what the fuck is this? This shit is not like.
No, but then he says I'm gonna use Comet because like the guy got up in his mouth. Like he's like, he got really
He's
up
like,
in there.
he's like, I gotta use. No, this is a chemical situation. Or
Yeah,
whatever.
he says I'm gonna use some Comet.
And I'm just thinking, like, to me, in my opinion, shit like that, and this is like a lot of like shit like that is in this movie and in comedies of this era. It's just so overridden. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if this is improvised or if this is in a script.
That's
but
a good point, but
this is-
sometimes they're literally just writing that stuff in so somebody can get jokes off. Like,
So,
Yeah.
what I think is like they
Like-
need to fill the minutes of a runtime,
That's
and
fair.
so they'll just throw in a bunch of fat on the plate.
well, that's
and
the Apatow approach too. It's all
That is
them, it's
Apatow.
literally them just throwing out lines.
The
Like there's
worst-
so much stuff left on the cutting room floor because like those moments like where he says "I love you, man," they're just throwing things out at the end.
yeah.
They must have did like 30 of those. You know,
That
what I mean?
one I
Like,
don't
yeah,
mind because
yeah.
that one I think is like building up to
But-
them saying that to each other.
No,
or
but I'm
whatever.
just saying like that kind of comedy where they're just throwing lines out at each
Yeah,
other.
they're
That's
just-
the Apatow
or like-
approach, right?
Or like this guy, that douchebag fucking real estate
Tevin?
agent. Yeah, Tevin or whatever. And he
Tevin
goes like,
or
I got
Tevin,
this
yeah.
at a fucking Olive Garden. I have like people could piss on me. And I don't, there's just like, it's just like, I feel like it just goes off the rails a lot. Sometimes these
no, I
like,
disagree. That part's
these
hilarious. too.
conversations, there's a lot of lines in there that are, they just jump off the
It's a
rails
good
for me.
point, though. It's a good point.
And the worst example of that is if you guys ever watched the movie Trainwreck, which Apatow directed, the one with Amy Schumer.
Yeah.
That movie is so like offensive with this type of like so much. The scenes go on beyond like their natural timeline, and it feels awkward, and you feel like,
Well-
wow, this should have been all cut out. Like,
well, that's what people complain the worst about Apatow is like the worst one was Funny People. It's like 2.5 hours.
I love that movie.
No, but it's way too fucking long.
I don't
There's
think
a lull in that film where it was absolutely not necessary. There's at least 15 minutes you can cut out.
okay,
of that film.
we'll talk about that one a little later.
No, but that's
because,
Apatow's biggest gripe about people with Apatow's films is that they're too long.
No. I don't mind too long, but the minutes have to feel necessary. And in that movie, it is because
No.
it does that. No, well, that's your opinion. That's fine. We could talk about it later because
That whole Eric Bana
spoiler-
scene where he goes back for his wife, like it's
that's so necessary.
takes
Okay,
so long.
this is that.
I
that's
like that
another
movie
hour
too, Max.
conversation.
I'm with you.
You like that movie too, Julie?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yes.
I
thank
like
you.
that movie too. I'm just saying.
No, you like but are you agreeing with his?
But I don't feel like it's too long.
Yeah, I don't think. Okay, thank you. So, anyways, that's like if we did
The-
that movie,
The
that is
first
like,
time I watched it, I felt that.
I agree. And then if you, that's a movie like
Once you
if
get used to his
get a
stuff,
couple of watches.
yeah.
That's like, okay, I don't want to devote so much time to that movie because I could literally break that one down, but that's fine. What I'm talking about with this is like, this is what we're talking about, why like these Apatow comedies or whatever, or not Apatow comedies, but like why comedies of this type of style, they didn't last long or they eventually got phased out is I think because of shit like this. It's like there was a little bit of a laziness to them when it comes to like scenes and stuff, and they're just like they kind of overstayed their welcome. And I think the worst example of that was that Amy Schumer movie.
Yeah.
If you remember that one, like
That good.
no, it was.
Yeah.
I think
I
that's
will
the worst
not watch
film.
that one.
I think that's the worst film Apatow has ever made. And I do like King of Staten Island. I think he
It's
bounced
also
back.
Amy Schumer though. She's not that.
It's
great.
not even really about
don't
her.
like
I
her.
don't know if she wrote it or whatever, but
She did.
She did. I just
with him.
with
It's
him.
like,
I just remember there's so much fat on that.
King of Staten Island was good.
Yeah,
like
that's
that.
a good one. I just remember there's so much like fat in that movie, and there's just so much shit that should have not been in the movie. And there's like instances where this movie does that. It's not as bad, but there's some signs where I was like, oh wow, like, you know, just seeing people just bullshit for like a couple minutes more than they should. It's not engaging to an audience. So it makes sense to me why comedies didn't really like hit they didn't like remain relevant as far as like movie theater experiences were concerned, because I don't think many people wanted to go out of their way to actually watch these types of movies in theaters anymore.
I think that the difference between this, to your point though, and some of the older stuff, like even like the Bill Murray movies and like the what's his name, Chevy Chase, like that whole era, like 80s stuff, like 70s comedies, is that there was a better story with a lot of those films than these ones, like behind it, and then they would just kind of filter in the jokes through the actual story. Not to say that these ones don't have, like, there is many good stories in the Apatow films, right? But I feel like you make a good point, because like a lot of the time though, you're right. Like sometimes it's just like you're making the jokes for the joke's sake. It's not really it's kind of like you said, to fill screen time.
Here's the thing between the comedies that you're referencing from the past and then these Apatow comedies is that a lot of Apatow's humor is people sitting in like chairs and sofas and just riffing with each other, kind of like, and that isn't really engaging to an audience. So I feel like to me it's like this type of comedy. It had a good run, but there's a reason why it doesn't exist.
Although
anymore.
they did tap into the way that guys talk with their friends, which I think that they nailed. I don't think anybody had ever really did a good job of that kind of thing until they, like, guys busting each other's balls like they were in these films, making jokes to one another, like especially in something like 40-Year-Old Virgin and stuff like that, Knocked Up. Like, that's what I think he got right, to your point about that. Like, they were just sitting around, like, talking shit to each other, right? Like, I think a little bit of that goes a long way, though, for sure. I think once all your films become like that, then it's like, you know what I mean? Like, it feels like, I get
I mean, I feel bad, like, lasering in on Judd Apatow because he has, from what I understand, has nothing to do with this actual movie, but it's that style of comedy that kind of emerged in this era that
it's worth it, because we discussed it already during this talk. Right?
So that's my biggest like gripe.
Yeah, that's fair.
This movie does do a little bit of that, but there are movies that like went overboard with it and it was just bad.
I would also argue, to your point though, as well, it kind of sucks now though, because now every movie needs to have a point. Like now it's like everything needs to make a point of some sort, which I think is,
it's not comedy.
Yeah.
You know, it's
so I feel that's why I didn't mind just the bullshitting with each other type movies. Because,
like, he's like saying, I'm going to take a Tums. And I'm like, who the fuck is watching this thinking like this is like, who cares? Like, cut the scene, move on. Like, that's there's just overstaying. There's a lot of overstaying.
To Max's point, like, the only part of the movie where I noticed that what he's saying is not any bit with Tevin, but a lot of the bits with Tevin, like where he was like, I'm watching this fucking porn video of a grandma and a Sibian. Like, that was the only part that I was like, why? I was like, what? This feels like it is just like a joke for joke's sake and like for shock value. It's also like for the nod to people, like, do you know what that porn category is? Like, it is kind of that, but it also just didn't feel like it necessarily was fitting in there. But like, that was the only time in which I noticed that.
But though, to both of your points there, the problem is when you're doing a movie like a comedy or something like that, and it's based on something that could possibly be like a real life situation or scenario, there is weird stuff that happens in real life that does happen at that exact moment. Yes, there might be playing it out on the screen, which you might be opposed to some people, right? But I mean, that is what happens in real life.
I guess,
think about it, right? Like, I mean,
yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, some of the like the stuff that's like the small conversations that feel like they're not.
Because remember, these guys. It is also, this movie is also playing out like a sketch, right? In a sense, because these guys are all comedians themselves, and they probably have great improv and stuff like that they can bring to the table.
That's what a lot of
So
these movies
why
are
not?
in improv.
Yeah, so why not roll with it and roll and play out a fucking scene and just play it out like if you were doing it on your own, like I for instance, like even the dinner table one, that's the one I think about. Like that kind of talk could happen. I can see that, okay, you could sit there, you could be a close knit family, but you have that type of talk, that happens in between, and it's kind of awkward, but it happens, and not everybody finds it funny, but if you deliver it the right way, and a lot of these guys do, everything in the film becomes, that whole scene becomes funny, even though there's really maybe one or two things that they want to talk about that are supposed to be funny, but that's the whole way the scene plays out, right?
Mhm. Yeah, I guess
So
like a lot of this style is like improvised dialogue, right? Like a lot of the
Yeah.
yeah,
conversation
even though
between
they say
characters and
written,
stuff.
yeah.
But I feel like after that, comedy films didn't really evolve into anything else after. And I think that's why people are saying comedy is like dead or comedy isn't relevant in as far as movies are concerned, because there weren't anybody actually changing any. Like it just stayed stagnant in this form, and it just I think eventually sizzled out. That's how I look at it. Like I didn't think this was not a style that was gonna last.
Yeah, they
in my
ran it
opinion.
into the ground in a way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you
But
know
the
what I mean?
style, there is like comedy now, but it's so markedly different. It's Eric Andre, it's Tim Robinson,
Yeah.
it's
Oh,
just
cringe
it's cringe comedy, and Nathan Fielder, like it's all those. It's
Yeah.
it's so much different. It doesn't appeal to the wider audience like it used to.
A lot of that stuff
I
is
mean,
also like blending like reality as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like they're actually like fucking with real
me,
people and
me
stuff.
and Julie actually, we just did a trailer earlier today, and it's something that we talked about while watching it. We watched the new Naked Gun trailer for Liam Neeson. We talked about the fact that spoof movies like that have been gone for a long time,
Yeah.
right? Like that's so like and like we had mentioned back in the day, you got your airplanes, you got your Naked Guns, you got even all the way up to the scary movies, the police academies. Like you had all those type of movies, and it was a style of comedy that kind of went away, right?
Yeah.
So it's one of those things. I feel like after a
Hot
period of
shots.
time, it could come hot shots. Yeah, it could make a reappearance as well. Like you do see improvisational comedy still, but not in the same way. Like to your point, like around this time, even this is not even an Apatow movie, and it's done the same way,
it's
right?
dripping
It
in
feels
style, yeah.
there's a few adjacent films that are like sons of Apatow around this time,
Absolutely,
essentially.
yeah.
You know what I mean? This is one of them. This is one of those examples. I think Role Models too. I don't think was that an Apatow one? I don't think it was. I don't think it was. I'd have to look it up.
He's like his name.
He
is
might be a
over
producer,
so
but
many
he's a producer
movies.
on some of these movies.
Yeah,
too,
on a
right?
lot of them.
Yeah. So
even ones that he didn't necessarily direct.
Yeah. So, any other likes, dislikes from Julie, JT?
I'm good, and I was gonna say, let's get into maybe scenes and stuff like that. We've been tipping toeing around the scenes and stuff, and it's like, there's a lot of great scenes, and even though you're thinking that you get some talk in between and stuff like that, but I mean the whole movie plays out smoothly and great. So I think I mean scenes that I like personally. I mean I've gone over a few of them. I mean, like I just said to you guys, the dinner table one is great with the brother and the father talking about how they're friends. He's meeting the daughter, the in-law, the in-law she's meeting, and they have that great talk with Seymour and J.K. Simmons. Sorry, so why am I saying Seymour? J.K. Simmons and Schomburg,
J.K.
right?
Simmons is so funny.
Yeah.
Sandberg.
Schonberg.
Schomburg. I don't know. Maybe it's the look that throws me off. But yeah, and talking openly and have a great discussion like that, which I thought was great. I thought the scene was played out funny. I mean, being Paul Rudd, think about
Did
the
you
way
want to
he
say the
played that
line of
out.
that scene?
Yeah, I made Dad an honorary homo last month.
Yeah.
Oh no. The one is like. The one he's like, well, Robbie always managed to have friends, but of course he probably wanted to suck their dicks or whatever.
Yeah, that was the
Which I
greatest one of
respect.
them all.
He's like, I respect your lifestyle.
And the guy's like, no, he's right, I totally did, right? And like, it was so.
He's like, Dad
But-
loves the gays. I made him honorary homo last month.
Yeah, last month. And they props each other, man. Like, come on. And they do. Come on, that's classic.
Yeah.
Like that. That's just a great scene.
Well, I
And
love
Paul
Andy
Rudd is
Samberg too. So like him being in this movie again is just fun to see him
Well-
at this time. Like Hot Rod again is one of
That's
those
a
like
classic.
that's like an SNL kind of spinoff, but Bill Hader's in that one. Like that hilarious that movie. I fucking love Hot Rod. So you ever seen that one, Jay?
no, I know. Isn't he the one though Andy? Isn't he the one that was I'm on a boat type of thing?
Yeah.
He was the guy who used to
Yeah,
do that on
Lonely
SNL
Island.
all the time.
999.
Yeah.
Lonely Island guy. Yeah. So you gotta if you that's one I definitely suggest you check out if you like his stuff at all. Like Hot Rod is
It's
him.
fucking
Bill
hilarious. man.
Hader and fucking what's his name from Eastbound and Down? Danny McBride's in
Danny
it.
McBride.
Hilarious. Yeah, it's really good.
Eastbound and Down. Yeah, I have to check it out. No, that was a great scene. But when going into the movie, I started watching and I started noticing even better scenes that were more meaningful, like and comedy still too as well. Like I mean, think about somebody trying to meet a friend and for the first time, or just going out and trying to, you hear your girlfriend in that little scene with all her little gossip girlfriends. The guy's just coming in. And this
Yeah.
is where I kind of felt bad for Paul Rudd. I like the scene, but I felt bad for the guy. He's going in there. He's playing like oh, here, I'm gonna make them root beer floats,
What a cuck.
and he hears them you hear some gossiping about him, right? About if he has any friends, and she says, I think his mom's his best friend, right? Or his only friend, right?
Right.
So that was kind of weird, you're gonna walk into a group of her friends that and you know what? Think about it. He only met her like 8 months prior to this, so he's walking into like this whole weird scenario, right?
Hawaiian
So
Yeah. I felt
yeah,
bad too for him. Yeah.
What about the like when
You
he's
know?
like in the
but he
car
played it off well.
when they're like on speakerphone and all her friends know all the weird sexy shit that like they
Oh, yeah,
do.
that
and
they
they're
don't-
like, oh yeah, because he didn't go down on you in Mexico or whatever. It's like how
Yeah,
the fuck did they know this shit? Like because they talk.
Women talk like
Yeah,
that
yeah. But he's
sometimes.
like
Yeah.
shocked or he's like embarrassed by it, right? Like
Hey,
that was funny.
I mean, everybody does that. If they don't gossip about it somewhere or another, it always happens.
You know
There's
what?
always a tight knit group of friends.
In all honesty, though, Jay, I don't know. Julie can maybe weigh in on this here as being the honorary female on the show. I honestly think honestly that women may gossip more like that than men do, actually, because we don't usually talk about like women that we're with, like in relationships like that. Really, like I don't feel we talk about like actual
yeah,
stuff.
I
like
guess.
that. We're pretty private when it comes to that kind of stuff. Like
Yeah.
sometimes we'll throw something out there, but like unless you're just
I
talking
mean, if
about
you're just
random
sleeping with the
women,
woman, yeah.
I think once you're with somebody, we don't really get into that with each other. At least I don't. I don't know. I mean,
Yeah, like
maybe some
serious
men do.
relationships.
Yeah, I don't like. It's not like I'm like, hey, I hooked up with my girlfriend. You know,
Yeah, I
we
would
don't-
say it's probably dependent on how new the relationship is.
that's fair. That's a good
The
point.
level
yeah.
of gossip that goes on,
Right.
like about that particular type of thing. I would say if it's a new relationship, it's probably more like that.
Well, the one girl in there had it
Which she
good
was.
too. She had a good point. The one girl in there had a good point too when she was talking in that scene. She said something about that it happened really quick and all this. So when sometimes it's scary, like especially when it happens too quick, people get clingy, do shit, stuff like that happen. Like I could see girls talking out a gossiping point, like in that sense too, right? As a safety thing, as a what I mean, as a friend. But yeah, I mean, this was like Paul Rudd. I mean, the guy came in with fucking root beer sundaes. Like, come on, like
What's wrong with that?
that's a gentleman. No, that's a very sweet guy.
Yeah.
Honestly,
But then
I
you
think
go on to like find out that they're getting married and they've only been together for 8 months.
Yeah. She's right.
Yeah,
it is
right?
early in a relationship. Yeah. So
Yeah.
you make a good point, Julie. Actually,
I don't know.
As
Is
they're
it?
talking like that. Yeah, no, it's true. The best is when you're like, oh look, you even brought those like straws, the chocolate straws. And he's like, yeah, Pepperidge Farm.
Yeah.
Yeah. What did you
Pirouette.
call him?
Pirouette.
Yeah. Pirouette.
He's right. I felt so
Oh.
bad for him in that moment. I'm like, oh, this guy, like, that's such a nice thing that
But
he did.
here's the thing though. They're together for 8 months and only now she figures out that he doesn't have any friends or that didn't like come up sooner.
I guess.
Yeah.
I feel like that's something you would have because you would have noticed like, oh, he doesn't go out.
You
or
They're like
whatever.
in the honeymoon stage and they're hanging out all the time though.
No, she kind of knew. Like even when she was asking him, you don't have anybody to call. How about this guy that you play fencing with or whatever? Like she kind of knew that he didn't really have.
Oh,
any
okay. I thought
friends.
it was like almost like
No,
revealed later on.
She was
She's like,
revealing
oh,
it to her friends, I think,
yeah.
during that conversation.
Yeah.
She kind of knew. Like that's why she said she
Bro,
thinks her
she
best
told
friend is
them.
the mom.
Yeah, that is crazy that she
Yeah.
said that to them. I was
Yeah, it
like,
was
holy
mean.
fuck,
It was
that
mean.
is kind
It
of
was
fucked
mean.
up.
Well, I mean, my best friend is my mom, man. What the fuck? You got a problem with that? I mean, I have a lot of friends,
That's not true.
but my best friend is my mom. It is. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah, but for other people to say that, I feel like is like, I don't know, came across like
It was
kind of like an
condescending.
yeah,
It was
exactly.
condescending.
It was
It
came
was
across a
But
condescending.
little.
you know me. I have a lot of friends. Well, people that say they're my friends, but I mean, I have a lot of friends, right? I would think. So, but my mom is my
Say
best
they're
friend. I don't want to put. I saved that one for
I
her
see that.
because
They're
I'm
my
smart.
friends.
Because I don't want to
Ah.
hurt any of my friends. You know what I mean? Like
Because
I
look
can't
one of my
just do
fucking
one
chopped
single
liver
one.
over here.
No, like I just eliminate all. That's what I mean. Look, I did it like what's his name? The father here, and I did it like him. I just said,
Thank you,
my
Simmons.
mom and
Hell
somebody
yeah.
else. Yeah,
And Hank Mardukas.
Yeah,
And
Hank
my one
Yeah.
day,
I love those lines. Every time he brings
And
up Hank
Nico.
Mardukas.
Yeah.
my brother Robbie, and my one friend.
Hey, hey.
Hank Mardukas.
The best is at the end when they're at the wedding. He's like, he gives
You
him
guys
a
are
hug,
both my best
Yeah,
friends. And Hank Mardukas.
and he's in the crowd. He's like, hey,
that was a great like callback.
yeah. And Hank Mardukas. Well, I just want you boys to know that you're both my best friends. And Hank Mardukas.
Well,
It's like some Greek guy. I don't
Is
also
know.
that a
talk to
good
the.
name,
I don't know.
Mardukas?
It's like I'm just throwing it out there.
it
Yeah.
could be.
It sounds like a
I
Greek
mean,
name. Mark Dukas.
um,
Yeah. Anyways.
also imagine like having to take advice from your gay brother on how to get friends. Yeah, and how to get friends. No, and how to get friends, like
that.
male friends. No. It was
Oh,
funny. Like they played it great. I thought,
well,
to be honest with you,
well,
I looked like Paul Rudd was more played
right.
that character better than the actual brother. The brother was like the gym guy. He was like,
Yes,
picking up
very
the
true.
straight
Very
guys,
true. Yes.
picking
Yes.
up the straight guys. It was like,
More macho.
yeah, he played it
You
good.
talk
Oh
about
yeah.
like a truism that is in this movie. How about like gay dudes going after straight guys? Like that is such a real thing. That is so facts.
Why? Because they get bored.
Yeah, like I don't know. They like it's like a game to them or some shit. They like to turn
I
straight
get
people.
But
bored
when you
with
turn
really
it around
gays.
on them,
That
when
is
you
so.
turn it
I've seen
around on
that.
them,
I like to give myself
when
a
you
challenge.
when you turn it around on them, they end up poking you and stuff like this because like
Yeah.
if you turn it around, I've flirted with enough guys. I'm just letting you guys know. I've done it personally,
Happy Pride Month. Here it is.
Weird territory that we're in
right?
now.
Should have made the banners
Hey,
rainbow. If you could do that. I don't know.
Honestly, and I get poked now. I mean, and
Don't
poked
give
like
Julie
just in the
ideas.
stomach.
Now she's
Like
gonna go and do that.
Is
Great.
it, are you even able to do that?
Of course she is.
she's gonna blend the
Rainbow
color. Yeah,
colored
she's watch.
banners.
She's gonna blend
I
the
don't
colors.
know where
Just
it's at.
Speaking of which, though, during that scene when he actually is giving him the pep talk, I like that scene a lot. Like when he goes to the gym and he starts to tell him,
I'll
he's like,
see
"Hey,
you later. Yeah.
like, listen, you're gonna have to get involved though." He's like, "You gotta use the internet to meet guys. Get mom to fix you up with somebody. And if you see a real cool looking guy, strike up a conversation. Ask him out on a man date."
Mandate.
Mandy. No, but the best too is when he goes
Yeah.
when he's doing the sit-ups, right? And he says to him, he goes, yeah, well, you got to come back. We'll do it again tomorrow. I'll give you a rub down. He goes like that. He goes, I'll see you later.
hope so.
And the guy goes, I hope so. And that was the straight guy saying, I hope so.
That
Right.
was the whole
So,
part. And then later
yeah.
he shows up to the party and Jason Segel's giving that toast. He's like, Robbie's lover. And the guy's like, hey, whoa.
Yeah.
But he was straight up. He had that quote. Yeah.
What's
That's the-
Barry and his smoking hot wife?
Yeah. This guy is smoking
Smoking
hot
hot
wife.
wife.
Look at how wife. Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
We're stepping on some like quotes, but that toast was one of the
Yeah.
best scenes too. Give it up.
That's my favorite scene in the movie when he like tries to tell him
Return
like,
the favor.
Yeah.
Give it up.
Like telling her to
Oh,
get
dude,
the medicine.
return the. It took me a second. Like I
Oh my
knew
God.
where he was going with that.
Yeah.
Right. But it took me a second on how he played that out because he played it out perfectly where everybody questioned it, but he didn't really even say it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Everybody said, I think he's not. I think she's not fucking. I think he's.
Favreau
What did
said that. He's like,
Favreau? I think he's not. Yeah, I think he's not
blowjobs.
jerking off, like getting blowjobs or something. But yeah, it was fucking. too funny. That whole playoff scene.
No, the funniest is when they're in the car ride home afterwards and they're like talking about it, and he's like, "Oh, great!" Like she's basically saying like, "I'd be open to like giving that to you or whatever." He's like, "Okay, it doesn't have to be this moment. I'm not saying let's go home and get some BJ." Like the way he said, his face that he makes, "Let's go home and get some BJs."
Yeah.
8 months in and he hasn't had a blowjob yet. That's crazy.
And he's marrying this woman.
Yeah, he's too nice of a guy, yo.
Yeah.
That's too nice.
So
And
so
he's
one of my
eating tacos more than just on Tuesday.
Yeah.
Ew. So one of my favorite scenes that I'll throw out there though is when Jason Segel shows up at the open house and he
Yeah.
does the
Yeah.
play-by-play guy farting
Of
and
the
he
farts,
calls the
yeah.
whole thing.
Oh, bro. I
he's
forgot
like-
how funny that scene was.
Bro, the guy's like looking at the house, pretending like he's gonna buy it. He's like, "Oh no, dude, it's kind of small. Yeah, it smells like fart."
Yeah.
Roll the window down, honey. Yeah.
He's like, he does seem to be clenching.
Yeah.
No, I just come here. He goes, yeah. I
Watch
just
the
come here.
leg. Boom.
He's like, "Oh yeah, look at this, great move. Yeah, hey, honey, you go check out the bedroom over there." He just turns and looks one around.
Who takes a girl out to a open house if they haven't
Yeah,
banged yet? That's
yeah.
another thing. Like, what the hell? Like,
Trying to impress her.
I don't know. That's a little
There's-
desperate.
No, there is people out there like that. It's like people that have fancy cars and stuff like that, and they're trying to do that, and they have nothing else except a fancy car.
Look
Yeah,
at
like-
look at him
Like
crop
somebody on the
dusting.
screen.
Look at him crop dusting across your open house. It's a disgrace.
Yeah, just farted in my open house. Yeah.
Oh, and it all started off because he was thanking him. He was thanking him for having the food because he was getting in trouble for putting all the fucking food out from
Yeah,
the Hulk over there.
yeah, because he's like, "Listen, I'm not interested." He's like, "Thank you for being honest. Thank you for the sun-dried tomato aioli because it's a revelation." But yeah,
Oh.
go ahead, guys. That was one of mine.
The best line in the movie is like the one Thomas Lennon says when he walks by them. He's like, "You're a whore,
Yeah,
Peter."
yeah.
That's the best line of the movie.
So my buddy Peter, we literally said that we repeated that line so many fucking times because of his walk by in this film. You're a whore, Peter.
Like when they first go on that date or whatever, man date, and then
Yeah.
he like comes in for the kiss, you're like, "Whoa, what the fuck?" And then like he's so hurt at seeing them at the tuxedo shop or whatever. Yeah, that was just a perfect like
The taste of betrayal.
That was what I wrote
As
down.
he walks by him.
All of my favorite scenes are comprised of that like sequence of the Thomas
Yes,
Lennon stuff.
absolutely.
Like the makeout and then him seeing them together, calling him a whore, the taste of betrayal bit, and then him coming back around and being like, "I hope if you're still together, it's beautiful. If not, you can Facebook me." That whole
yeah,
thing.
yeah, that's what he calls him. He's like, what is the name? Peter, seen the billboards. They're great, of course.
Fun fact, that scene where Thomas Lennon is making out with Paul Rudd got nominated for Best Kiss at the MTV Movie
Oh, the
Awards.
MTV, yeah,
Oh,
that's
wow.
what they do awards like that. That part's lit. You're right though, Julie. That whole sequence
That
of
is a
events
funny
with
scene.
him is great. Yeah. But your whore Peter is one of my most quotable
You're-
lines from this.
You're a whore, Peter.
Because he like drive-bys him with it. He like walks
Yeah,
past
yeah.
him.
It's just,
He just
it's
asked him to
perfect.
be his best man, and they're hugging. He's like, "You're a whore, Peter." And he's like, he's like, "Where does he like?" I bet you that was unscripted. I bet like he just did that.
Oh,
Eh?
it's
Like
brilliant.
it probably was just
That's
there. And he's
brilliant.
just like, "I'm gonna do this." Like I can't see that was.
I'm just gonna
part
walk
of-
across the screen. Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
Oh,
Or,
but
like,
he
if
had to be there, bro. He was dressed already to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh fuck, that's too funny, man.
Yeah.
Or what about like every time Paul Rudd's character, what was his name? Peter
Peter,
Clinton, yeah.
Yeah.
Peter,
Yeah.
every time Peter
Sydney's the other guy. Yeah, Jason Segel. Yeah.
Sydney,
Yeah.
every time Peter tries to do an accent, it like veers into like an Irish accent or
Leprechaun.
a leprechaun
Yeah.
accent, and
Sounds
like,
like a leprechaun.
yeah, that was
What
funny.
does everything what does everything I do have to sound like make me sound like a leprechaun? No, fuck.
Yeah.
It's
How about
so
you,
true.
Julie?
But
What do you got, Julie, for quotes, scenes?
We touched them all already, except for my only other one I wrote down was when he was asking about the girl that he brought to his place, because he was like, "Oh, she was good looking or whatever, and he was like, yeah, I fucked her. And then
Yeah.
afterwards, when he goes into the shed, he was like, this is a man cave. There's no women allowed in here. I have a jerk off station, for God's sake.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
funny as well.
Which I got questions later on about that.
Okay.
I got some questions about that scene.
What about when Peter tells him he's like, the best night I had is when we watch Chocolat or whatever, and he's like,
We ate a
it's
summer
Chocolat.
salad, split a bottle of wine, and watched Chocolat.
like, you
with
mean
Johnny
chocolate?
Chocolat.
Chocolat. You're not fucking French, Peter. It's chocolate or whatever. And then later when they're
Yeah.
talking about,
By the way,
I saw Chocolat or
Depp. It was
whatever.
delightful.
And then J.K. Simmons is like, what the fuck
Yeah.
is Chocolat?
And even Andy Samberg's like, I don't know. And then what's his
Thomas
name?
Lennon, yeah.
Doug. He goes,
It's a
Thomas
beautiful
Lennon,
film.
it's a beautiful film. Yeah.
That was a good call, man.
All the women are like, oh, I love that movie.
But I've never seen that movie.
Me neither,
to this
actually.
day.
Yeah, I've never seen Chocolat. That is how it's pronounced, too.
Chocolat.
It's
Chocolate.
What
It's
do I
chocolate,
mean?
okay?
Yeah, it's chocolate.
No. Oh, but what about the poker one too, man? That poker scene,
my
just to
God.
start it off.
Puke?
Okay,
Oh my
now
fucking God.
I don't know. I've never
look like
been able
shit.
to. Okay, no, but I've never been able to do something like that. I've never seen it actually projectile like that.
Big.
Okay. First of all, to not know how to fucking play poker is something wrong with you. I think.
Okay, why
just
was what was his deal? Like, why was he so mad that Peter won the hand? Like,
Because
because
didn't
he
know
had
what
no
had.
cards.
yeah, but like, this guy doesn't know how to play poker.
You don't clearly play poker either.
I do. I know how to
No.
play poker, but he doesn't. This guy doesn't know how to play poker.
That if someone like that comes into a game, he's an asshole. He's right. He's absolutely
Why?
100%. Because
Bro,
you're
it's like
fucking
he's trying to
everybody
con
up.
you.
And he thought he
Huh?
won the hand. Jay, explain it. Like he's right.
Yeah,
He's
he
an
thought.
asshole.
Okay, so it's basically okay if you don't know what you're doing, and then it made it almost look like he knew what he was doing and he was conning them all along. Is what Favreau was thinking in his mind,
Oh, I see.
guaranteed. Because Peter goes, I had nothing. I just have a bunch of I had 5 spades,
Price pays, yeah,
right?
flush.
Meanwhile, the
Yeah,
guy's
but
faking it in already
Yeah.
at that time.
remember,
Yeah,
he
but
didn't even have to show his cards at that
everybody
time. He
on-
could have just threw them down.
Okay, but like everybody at this table knows that Peter doesn't know how to play poker. So when he doesn't understand what hand he has, like I'm just saying the reaction I feel is so unnecessary from John Favreau. He's like, "Oh, he's a fucking asshole." He's a
But he
fucking-"
plays
Like
it
that
off.
third
But the
episode.
problem is he says la la la, like that, like way he says it, the flush thing after Favreau says, you have a fucking flush.
Yeah,
Right?
but
This guy
Peter
had a
didn't know he
fucking
had
flush.
that, right?
He had, he had, he had a shit card,
That's what
another
I'm
card,
saying. It's
and
just
then
like, whoa, it's like, but I guess it's like to John Favreau's character, he's like,
But
he'll find any excuse to just like be.
but
a
I
jerk
will
to
say
Peter.
that somebody
dick.
doesn't know how to play and they're showing up to play and they're playing for money and
Yeah.
he's fucking up the game, I would be upset.
Yeah, I don't know. That's
But you do play
If you know-
poker.
I know how to play poker.
Oh, we
yeah,
should
but
play
like,
poker sometime.
Absolutely. but like, I'm just
My
saying,
bad. I'm sorry. I said you did it.
no, that's fine. No, it's just like I was just surprised that like if they're teaching him how to play poker, he doesn't know how to play poker, and he doesn't know that he actually has the winning hand. For John Favreau to go be like, "You're a fucking asshole," it's just like, bro, you just taught him like 2 minutes ago how to
Well,
play
he's-
poker. Like, how he doesn't.
but he's
know
a
what
dick.
has. Yeah, that's what I mean.
He's
like,
a dick of a character. Like every scene he comes in, he doesn't want to be there when he's at the fucking engagement party. Oh, every little
Yeah,
fucking
yeah,
word
he
he was
said
saying
this
is
was gonna
It's
be
like
a
a
drop
fucking
by.
pet store in here. I gotta go.
Yeah.
yeah, Oh yeah, we were just gonna say hi and bye. Yeah,
He's like, you said this was gonna be a drop by.
So one of my
Yeah.
favorite parts with him is when they do the dinner where he makes the toast. Jason Segel. He shows up, and when he comes in, he's trying to have like small chit chat with him because he's seeing him
Get
again for
out.
the first time. And he's like, "Hey, so you play an instrument?" He's like, "No, I don't play an instrument."
Yeah.
He's just like totally like serious. And he's like, "Well, because me and Sydney, my buddy Sid over there, we play in a band or whatever." He's like, "You know what? Let's slap a little bass." He throws it in. It's no big deal. Let's slap a little bass.
slap a little bass.
Like,
Yeah,
I told you I don't play an instrument. Like he's like, "All right," he just leaves.
But
He's such a dick. He's such a dick in this movie.
at
Yeah.
the poker part, at the poker part there, what were they trying to do afterwards? And it's what I couldn't understand in that. I understand that. Were they trying to get their money back? Like to see if they can. I know they're drinking the race, but was he trying to see if he can get the money back, or was just like
I think it's just a
don't think
drinking
so.
game.
yeah, they'll see who's better and who's quicker.
Well, once one person go, like it's like she's saying the boat race thing is
Teams.
when like
So that's it.
Yeah, exactly. When he finishes, he was the last one in the line almost, and then when he chugged it, he puked all. They won, but he puked all over John Favreau because he's not used to chugging beers. Which again, he's kind of weenish in this movie. Like the guy chugs one beer, or well, maybe they were drinking more because he claims that they were drinking a lot. So I don't know, but he drinks the beer and he like puked. Yeah, there is such a thing as projectile puke, though. Like he says in this movie, Jay, there is such a thing, but that was insane. The puke in that one, that was like chili or something that they were throwing out.
I've never actually seen it come out that fast. I mean, I guess with the gas behind it, yeah.
I've seen it.
Yeah.
Oh well, next time get it on film so I can see it. Like I don't know, I've never seen it except for
you don't
this.
want to be there for that. It's gross.
It's terrible.
Well, remember the next time, get you guys drunk somewhere and then see what happens.
That's not likely to happen.
Well, I'm just thought I'd try. It'd be cool.
It's not cool. I don't want that to happen ever to me or anyone around me.
I can't do it. It's just gonna come. I've had it come out the other way that way.
One of my other favorite moments are when they go on the double date and he yells out, "This is my nightmare," when he gets hit with the ball, which is also a line that I used to this day, yelling out about, "This is my nightmare." Like, because like he doesn't want to play with women, and then she smacks the fucking ball on his leg, and like it's true. Like golf does suck if you don't know really how to play, and then there is a protocol. Like there will be people up your ass. Like from the few times that I've golfed, like that is a thing, and you got to kind of let them pass you by if that happens. And it sucks because like if the guys are used to the course and you're not, and you're trying to learn how to play and the course is rammed, then it kind of makes it for like a pressure cooker situation where you're kind of basically trying to play through. You literally just got to pick up your ball at that point and walk, because like if there's guys up your ass, you got to get ahead of them. And if they're good players, they're gonna fly right past you. So it is like, I'm not gonna, listen, I'm just saying it is a shitty situation. Like she clearly didn't know how to golf, and she, but Jason Segel, like, I guess was being a little unfair to him or her, but this is what the point he was trying to make, that he doesn't play with women, I guess, which is a sexist thing, I guess. But hey,
well, then Favreau straight up says, "This is my worst nightmare."
No, not Favreau, Jason Segel. Yeah, but this is my nightmare kind of thing. But it's funny because he was so delighted to see how his wife or his fiance, how good she was playing.
She was.
Hey, wow, you know, you're
like
good.
a double standard.
Yeah. Meanwhile, this other one,
they played it good.
The ball and it won't stop right away.
Yo, what about?
Well, he thought at that point it was going to be a quick game.
Yeah.
Right?
What about the fencing? When they're like, "Oh, you hit me with the couture, the what," and all these terms, and I'm like, "Yo,
suck it, Gil."
Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm to ask you too. Does he think? You think he was? It wasn't him doing the fencing, right? Obviously, it wasn't Paul Rudd.
I don't know.
It might have been. Who knows?
I don't know.
I know. I couldn't find a thing about it anywhere. But the way they turned the scene, like the way they flipped the scene, where he kind of walks out from behind the person, the camera comes at a different angle. It made it look like they had edited that scene so that they could put the other person in it. You know what I mean? They put Paul Rudd back into the scene and take the double out because they had their faces masks, right?
Yeah, it's easy to do that in that scene. Probably wasn't him. The other thing too, like I guess we're gonna talk about, he touched on it earlier, is just all like when Paul Rudd gets to know Jason, he's trying to get to know Jason, he's trying to act like he's cooler than he is. He starts making all these short like versions of words, trying to like throw things out there. There's a long, I got a list of them here if you guys want to hear some of the ones he throws out here. Yeah, Jobin's the funniest one though. Yeah, take it easy, Magooch. That's one that he said.
Magooch.
There's a whole bunch here. I have them all over the place, but he basically says a whole bunch of those. Jobin, he calls them, and he calls him because he calls him Pistol, right?
Yeah, Pistol.
Catch you later, Jobin. He's like, what did you say? Yeah. You got it.
I'll see you there. I'll see you there. I'll see you another time.
Yeah. He's like, now I'm confused. I don't know if you're actually coming or not. I'll see you there. Half an hour at Muscle Beach. I'll see you there. I'll see you some other time.
Yeah, it's confusing. I don't know if you're gonna come or not.
What does he say? Working like a dog. He's like working like a dog.
Dog.
Yeah.
What about when Paul Rudd reveals to Jason Segel that he like jerks off to his own wife, like pictures of his own wife?
Yeah.
And Sidney's just like, "That's disgusting. You're sick." Like.
You know what? But it's kind of cool if that's what gets him off. But I mean,
Yeah,
I
it is.
prefer watching.
I guess it is sweet or whatever, like, but it's also kind of like it is weird at the same time. I don't know.
Paul Rudd played the sweet guy role like great. He
Yeah,
nailed
yeah.
it
And
perfect for this. Like I mean,
he knows a nice touch to that. He knows every woman's name in the office. He's always like, "Hi, Carolyn," or whatever. And he's like, those
yeah,
is always greeting them and shit. And it's like little things that they did to
Yeah.
drive that point.
Adios, pistol. Take it easy, city slicker.
City Slicker.
City slicker.
But even
goats,
Sydney
he says.
Jason Segel started coming back with a couple of weird ones too, right?
Yeah.
I think just make him feel better. The thing I liked about this too is when the turnaround, when the turnaround in it, when it's you can see that Jason Segel, you get him asking him for some money for an investment, potential investment, and he starts to see that turnaround because you don't really catch it, but he already knows that he's a nice guy. That Paul Rudd's just an all around nice guy in this, right? And you don't realize that somewhere inside of him, he's got that same thing where he's trying to call some friends that he used to have, and you see at that point
They have
when he's
kids and they're
they're always busy and they're doing something, right? I mean, we all go through that as we grow up, right?
Right.
And that's why it's a very good, like even that in that sense, it's a good coming of age story too for this time as a
That's what I
comedy,
said
right?
about it, how like it really does become harder. Like he's kind of surprised at all the friends and jealous of envious of all the friends that Jason Segel's character has, but yet at the same time he's looking for someone new to hang out with as well in that same way because the other ones don't have time for him anymore. And that's a real thing as well. Absolutely. But you're right. Like that's very subtle. They don't spend too much time on it, but that is part of the story and an important part for
They
sure.
say we were using each other. Right? He says that. I think we were using each
There's
other.
another bit in that sequence that is fucking really funny to me that the first time I watched it was completely lost on me. But that thing where he was like, I can't let you eat a whole 6-foot sub by yourself. And then he comes home with 3 feet of sub.
Is that
they
way longer?
hang out.
No. You're right. It does look that way, Julie. I've actually thought the same thing at one point. But what happens is he says that I ate like already at his house. Remember, he says that to his wife because she's like, "Do you want any of this?" And he was just like, "Oh, I already ate a bit at his." And then he left. You're right. It looked the way it was edited though. It made it look like he's like, "I can't let you eat all that." He just takes some of it, right? No,
and then he just took half of it home. Yeah.
No, he does say to his
That's what
wife.
I thought.
I was also pissed off by the way she was eating the
she-
sub. She was just picking the lunch
I know.
meat
She was
off.
just
I
picking
didn't like that either.
I was gonna say, did you? Yeah, it was like that was a weird way to eat it. It was wide open, and I thought at first she was making it, but then she's putting it in her mouth, right?
I got to give a shout out to my boy Tevin with this line. He's like, "You know who took this picture? M. Night Shyamalan, director of The Village."
That's like another thing of what I'm talking about. Of this, like all these like lines that are just
stupid,
out here.
And then to your point about the pissing thing, I like the line he says here. He's like, I have people who come up to me and say, "I know you from somewhere." Yeah, you do. You pissed on my face, friend.
I feel like that actor plays the exact same character
Schmucky
in
character?
every
Yes,
movie, anything he's in. He plays that exact same type of character.
No lag between the vag.
No lag between the vag.
No lag, but lag between the vag. No, Rob's favorite one was Rush. I love Rush, dude. Rush is the greatest rock band of all time. When they said nearly find out, he goes,
Then he
honestly,
says, "No, how about of all time?" Right?
Yeah, he says
of all time, yeah.
Yeah. I didn't really understand that. Like, was he not listening to him, or
no?
Why did he just really? How about of all time?
I think it's just because he's flustered still.
Yeah,
I can't get out with him because that was when he's being introduced to his man cave for the first time, and he's like, all right, because right after that happened, he's like, all right, I better get going. Like, you know what I mean? He was just like, I'm right out of things to say here.
Yeah.
Myself.
What does he say? What does Cindy say? He goes, I gotta, we're men. We're all fucking like Neanderthals, right? And he says, I take my time. I go down to the boardwalk sometimes and throw my shit like what did she say? I have it written down. Throw my feces like a gorilla.
Right.
That's just before he's telling her, okay, later, Jobin, and all that stuff.
Face on the boardwalk, but then he tries to pull it on Lou Ferrigno. Fuck you, Hulk!
He puts him
in a
fuck you, Lou Ferrigno. I put him in a chokehold.
You put him fucking right to sleep, dude.
Bro, who would fight Lou Ferrigno? Even his wife, his fiance has a fight. He's trying to fight Lou Ferrigno.
Yeah.
Sorry, I gotta go. He's trying to fight Lou Ferrigno. She's like, who would fight Lou Ferrigno? Oh man. Also,
No.
there's a very funny part. It's very small, but I love it. Jason Segel, when he's leaving the open house, there's people walking. He's walking past some people, and he's like, "Hello," and he like does like one of these like little like arm swings. I don't know why it makes me laugh every fucking time.
What was okay? I had a question about that. What was and I couldn't figure it out. I was just thinking about it today because when he does that hello thing, right? It's like that count. Is that what movie was it? Was it Sarah Marshall that he does that where he's or
The
Yeah,
Dracula
the Dracula
play, yeah.
play.
Dracula bit, right? Yeah, the Dracula play. Yeah, that's the fucking one, right? So it kind, yeah, it all it was weird because that was the kind of voice that you heard coming from that character in forgetting Sarah Marshall, but you only heard it for like that quick second,
Yeah,
that accent that he had, right? So,
yeah. I
but
don't know about you guys, but I'm pretty spent on my quotes and scenes right now.
Yeah, me too.
Oh, I mean,
what else?
I mean, did we talk? We obviously talked about a bit about the slap in the bass scene. That scene's iconic.
Slap in the base.
Yeah, that was pretty
Well,
funny.
hey, what about watching his wife get a little bit, his fiance? They're getting a little bit of jealousy going on when they go out to that concert, right? Because they didn't get to watch their HBO time on the Sunday, right?
Looking each
Yeah,
other's
she's-
guitars or whatever.
That's the thing
He's
I
gonna get
realize is like maybe there are
Nick-
certain
get
things
air
like
guitars.
your spouse shouldn't see, like you act like when you're around your friends or whatever. And I thought that was like he probably
Well, he
should have
says it.
invited her to that thing because he was gonna act like a. He puts the shirt. He sits on a guy's shoulder and puts the shirt over his head, like
Beavis.
acting like total, like like boys will be boys kind of. They just act like there's no explanation to the fucking shit we
She
do.
didn't get it. She didn't.
There's
get
no
it.
explanation to the shit we do as men sometimes, and it's just like maybe some women should not be able to see that sometimes.
Yeah,
And
there
I think
is
that was like
sometimes.
really that behavior was really turning her off. You could tell.
Well, I mean, dude, they got invited out. Like he invited her out to go with him. Yeah, he just wanted to go by himself. Really, at the end of the
Yeah.
day, so why not just say, "Hey, I'm gonna go by myself." Yeah, you can watch Sunday.
Because that was
Sunday.
HBO night,
Yeah,
where they sit in and they watch HBO.
Hey,
like-
Miss Money Pussy, why don't you get out of my
Miss
dreams
Money
and into my
Pussy.
car?
but see
Why
that
don't
whole
you jump
time
on
that
my
he was doing.
jetpack?
Okay, what was your favorite? What was your favorite one of Peter's billboards? Like
The one where it's Jason Segel. He's got the pipe. He's like, "Who's the best realtor?" And then he's like, "I am beyond."
or the Ali G one?
Yeah.
No, that
Oh man. Or the one where he's got like the big like thong, like his junk is like
Packing, yeah.
but that this is what I mean with this whole underlying story that they got going on there. That if you're not paying attention and just watching a comedy, I mean, he's doing it all for a fucking reason. Like it's a good heartfelt movie in that sense. And then instead of making you want to fucking tear up and watch the movie, it makes you want to laugh, but it still has that tear up sort of vibe in that sense. Like very
sometimes the
sweet.
smallest jokes are the ones that make me laugh the most in movies, like these throwaway
Right?
things they do sometimes, like something like that with
Yeah.
the billboards. Yeah, you're right. There's sometimes like some things do seem pointless, but sometimes those are the funniest takeaways from movies, honestly. And the more you
because
watch
then you
them,
go back.
the more you notice those things more and gravitate towards them, right? Like
Well-
this is probably my 10th watch of this film. You know what I mean? So-
Well, at the end of the day, like when you see those things there too, when you see that those are all pictures that he took of him as he was, as they were friends and doing all that.
yeah.
So he, that was something that was meaningful to him too, as well. I would think to see Jason Segel at that point because he was looking like for almost like for a best friend too at the time, in a weird way. Right? It's
what
like
he
they
did
found
was
each other. It
incredibly
was
nice. He gave him the money back and he got him the billboards and he found him success. Like that was like he didn't want, that's why he couldn't tell him. But at the time it seemed like a sneaky move. He's like, yeah, sorry, it's confidential in nature. I can't tell you why I need $8,000. Like that's a big ask, right?
Yeah.
Like that's for a guy
especially when you're just getting married. Yeah.
yeah, that's a big ask. That's a lot of quiche, a lot of cake.
It's a lot of quiche.
That's a lot of cheat.
No, it's
That was a
true.
good one.
Yeah, no, it's true. So
What about when he's showing those people the house, and then Jason Segel busts out the room? He's like, "This house is exquisite.
Yeah.
I'd like to make an offer."
That's why he's got the pipe too, and he's like trying to be like the rich.
And then
guy,
all those
yeah.
people are like, "Oh shit, we gotta
Yeah,
act like they're
yeah.
all like flustered and stuff."
No one cares. But the best is Lou Ferrigno on the phone. No one cares about your stupid fucking sandwiches, Peter. I can't do a Lou Ferrigno voice, but I guess it would be bad if I
But
did.
he's got the little lisp going. He's got that little lisp.
Yeah, he's deaf in one ear. I think
Oh,
it's
I
like
didn't
I
know
think
that.
that's why he's got the voice.
Oh, wow,
I
interesting.
believe I may be wrong. I think he's deaf in one ear, isn't he? I think he is.
I'm not sure, bro. He's the Hulk. I don't think the Hulk can become deaf.
Come on, Hulk. Hulk. He keeps calling him
I
Hulk.
believe he is, but fuck you, Hulk. Don't call me that.
Fuck you, Hulk. Yeah, I just want to be left alone. He's got that almost the from good. What was that? Good Times. The brother's fucking voice in that one where he's got that little lisp.
That, come with that?
Yeah, sorry, Julie's laughing because she knows where I'm going with that.
So he's not deaf, but he has profound hearing loss. He has had near
wow.
80% hearing loss since he was a toddler due to ear infection. So yeah, that's why.
What?
Like,
I've had, you know how much ear infections
and he's used hearing aids in his ears. Yeah, so he's got. Yeah,
I'm gonna
I thought
be deaf.
so.
Okay.
That's why I think he talks like that a little bit. I think.
He has like a distinct voice. Yeah.
Oh, I like Lou
Very
Ferrigno.
sweet,
Yeah,
very
yeah.
sweethearted. Like
Lou
you-
Ferrigno was like battling Arnold Schwarzenegger back in the day, like in terms of like the bodybuilding and stuff
Mm.
like that, right? They were competitors at the same time, those two.
Nice.
They knew
Well,
each
there's
other.
another guy that guy that came out there, that other one that was big and he ran away from. That guy's fucking massive. If you see his IMBD, I don't know who it was. It was just that throw character
Oh, the
where
guy
he
that
walked
stepped
on the
in the
boardwalk.
dog shit. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
yeah. He
Yeah,
has
and
huge
he just
hands.
he was. If you look at his his IMBD pick, it's mass. Like this guy looks huge, but it's got to be all roids. It can't be just like you can't just naturally get big like that unless you're born like that. Fuck, man, I don't know, but. Yeah, no, they like and they brought itself around to the end really nicely. Like it really did complete the movie, right? You know, it's funny how all those little scenes, those little dates and everything, he used everybody to come together. Like everybody they went, even with that old man that was using the dating site to go, to meet up with. He goes, so like, when was the last time you used the internet? Like he had some young kid's picture, a young guy's picture on
The
there.
old
Yeah,
Probably
he's
Crazy
using
catfish,
catfishing. Yeah. That's crazy.
It's either that you can take that in two ways, bro. It's either that or that creepy old man's luring,
Yeah.
That's the only other thing I was thinking of too at that moment, right? But no, how he took them all together and then they were all the wedding party, right?
Yeah,
Which
it's
made
groomsmen, yeah.
really cool sense. I mean, it was almost like a throwback. Well, not but it was almost like when we were watching the Beach Bum there, when he takes all those people and hangs out with them and stuff like that. It's a little different, a little bit,
Yeah.
in a nicer way, but it's that same style of, wander around trying to find somebody. This guy's wandering around trying to find a best friend, trying to get,
Yeah.
go on mandates. The only mandates I go on are with Nico. Right?
Oh no, we've all went before. You, me, and Max as well. We've went to movies.
Max too, yeah, Max. I mean, but no, I call it more of a date with just when it's me and Nico, like friendship. That was more a date, and we're probably gonna
Listen,
go watch
JT, at least
Superman.
we'll always have
We'll probably
Planet
go
of
watch
the
the
Apes,
Superman.
okay?
Oh yeah, you two did go
What's
for
the-
that. See that? Yeah.
Jay, we'll always have Planet of the Apes, okay?
Well, those are my favorite things on
Nice,
Instagram.
so
Now,
quick
never
to
mind.
forget,
Don't get me
I
started.
mean,
Don't
it
get me
was
started.
over a year ago, so I could imagine.
But you want to go move on now out of this category, Jay? To
Yeah,
can we go? Hold on. Let's see. Hot takes. Did anybody have any hot takes?
I guess I said mine earlier.
I
about
said
the-
mine earlier about Jason Segel kind of stealing the movie this time for me on this rewatch. But
I used to think that, but I really like Paul Rudd's performance, even though it's not like
Yeah.
a standout role.
I've watched this over so many times and have liked Paul Rudd for something. I've come back around now, and
Yeah.
now I'm like, oh, Jason Segel, you're quite good at this.
Yeah, like I did because like I would say like the awkwardness and the sort of nervousness and the flusteredness, like you said,
it's
like
not easy to play.
it isn't. No, it isn't. And Paul Rudd actually really killed it, actually, in that sense. So
Yeah.
I wrote that, and I also wrote that he could have had a much bigger comedy movie career if not for like whatever else he had going on in his life. It's kind of like missed opportunity in some sense. Even though he's
Who,
still
Paul Rudd?
no, it was Jason Segel. Even though
Oh.
he's still been very successful, I just think that
Yeah.
like he had the chops to do even more of these type of comedies, and he just didn't get around to doing as many as all these other guys did during this period, other than his bit parts and things. Because, you know, Forgetting Sarah Marshall's like elite, and he leads that movie like in terms of like comedies around
That
this
is a
period.
great film.
Yeah, that is a really good one. I also said for a hot take, this is one of the best non-Apatow comedies, like Apatow adjacent movies, and also the best male friendship film, essentially, and use of movie title. You know how like in movies it's kind of annoying sometimes when they use the movie title in the film. This actually felt well deserved and really good at the end when they busted out like when he shows up at his wedding and he's like, "I love you, man." He's like, "I love you, bro. I love you," whatever.
You know what's so funny actually? I'm just thinking in my mind, like in 2025, if this movie were to come out, I think people's minds would immediately go to this is like a gay movie. Because wasn't there like that movie that came out a couple years ago called Bros,
Yeah.
and they both have
and it
their
did
hands
very badly
in each other, and I'm thinking like this is probably would be something
and that's
similar.
an Apatow film.
Oh, is it
I
actually?
believe it is. I think
I haven't seen it.
Is that the Eichner one or whatever? What's his name? Billy Eichner or whatever the hell his name is. I think it's an Apatow movie.
But I feel like movies would probably go towards that direction if like of today, but you know, like they would have to be some sort of like gay like subtext or whatever, some gay like underlines.
I mean, that was the point of that movie, but then I think it did badly, and then one of the stars tried to blame it on that, but then I heard that it was actually just an awful movie,
just a bad movie.
Yeah. No, it's a Nicholas Stoller movie who did like Neighbors and stuff like that. Yeah, so Billy Eichner.
That's another one of like the last of the
yes,
the Apatow
yeah.
type movies.
I think that's a Stoller film, is it not? I think he's the one. Oh yeah, he worked on the Muppets movies with Jason Segel as well. Nicholas Stoller. Yeah, he's part of that whole group, I believe. He's written a bunch.
I have a
things.
fun fact about the title since we're on the subject of that. You said like the best use of the title in the movie.
Yeah.
The working title before they settled on this was called Let's Make Friends.
Oh, that's terrible. Thank God.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a dog. That's a title.
No.
My other fun fact, because I didn't have any questions or anything, my other fun fact was that they were going to cast John Bernthal as Robbie, and then they settled on Andy Samberg. Yeah,
that would have been good. I'm pro John Bernthal and everything.
I'm happy they went with Andy though.
I agree, but I would have been fine with that.
I think.
But I don't know how he would play it.
I agree. Andy would have played it better. John Bernthal would be too like scary if you showed up.
Yeah, you know. I don't know what he looked like back then, though.
I mean? Yeah.
No, but I mean, in 2009, he plays a lot younger.
Like acting move.
Well, he would have been a lot younger in 2009, so I think he would have.
Was he even a thing in 2009? Like, was he even
Walking Dead time
10 years ago?
Right?
Was that when that show came out?
I believe so. It came out forever ago. The Walking Dead first season.
Yeah.
This would have been before Walking Dead, though. I'm pretty sure. Sure, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. For sure. Because Walking Dead's what 10 years now, I think, at least.
Yeah, but Walking Dead isn't a comedy.
Maybe more. No, I know.
I'm just curious.
That's what I mean. I don't know how they would use John Bernthal.
Wolf of Wall Street he was in. He was pretty funny in that.
That was after this.
Yes. Very.
Yeah. I was just thinking the thought process of like they're looking at the guy Walking Dead and they're like, oh yeah, he would be funny as this role.
Walking Dead was 2010. So yeah. First season. Yeah.
Right after.
Yeah.
Maybe you got that opportunity instead and said, fuck it.
I feel like Andy Samberg isn't like he could have been in the movie like a bit more. I just feel like
he's fucking hilarious.
He's so funny, but it's just like
some of these guys though do so much with so little screen time.
They do actually. They absolutely do. Him, John Favreau.
That's the important part about these comedies too, is that if you got like a good 5 minutes in one of these movies, that's most people will walk away talking about those scenes, right? Like we all just talk, we all just talked about how much we love Favreau in this. He's barely so in this movie, right? But every scene, he's knocking it out of the park, right? So.
What the fucking when Peter comes to the house to like pick up Zoe or whatever, and you see him walk by from the hallway, and he's like, "Oh hey Peter, it's he's holding the poker chips in his hand.
Table.
He's like, "Oh, full table, it's poker night," and he just walks by. It's so good. And then his wife is like, "Oh, by the way,
that's when he does the negotiating."
His wife is like, "By the way, they have plenty of table at their poker table. You can play if you want." And she does this.
Yeah.
Well,
Who
no,
was
that's
the
when they did the
actress
arguing
that
about.
played, his wife? I think she was like in My Name Is Earl or whatever, right? Like she
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
what's that girl's name? She was so funny in that too. in
Yeah, I
this
always
too.
forget her name. She's good though whenever I see her in something. Sarah, is that it? Sarah Burns?
Yeah, no, is it? Yeah, it might
No,
be
that's
because
her
I wrote
friend.
it down here.
That's her friend. That's Haley. That's her. That's her other friend.
Yeah, the
the
one
fuck
that's
was
always
that?
like, what's a boyfriend and stuff?
Jamie Priestley? No, is that
Yeah,
Denise, right?
that's her. That's
Jamie
her. Yeah,
Priestley.
yeah, that's her. So no other hot takes from anybody. How about questions? I got one.
No, I got nothing.
I've always thought the weirdest fucking thing about the character in this, Jason Hegel's character, is that he jerks off into a condom. I've never heard of this before.
It's so funny.
I've never
Makes
heard
me
of
wanna
that
try it.
before.
Yeah,
I mean, it's kind of like
he.
he makes a good point where he's like, yeah, no mess, just throw it out right after. I'm like, sure, but like it just seems odd. Like you're wasting condoms, first of all. Second of all, like I guess he's like out there fucking whoever, so it's not like so I guess he needs condoms still, but like or he wants them, I guess. Some people don't care, but
Well, he's fucking everybody. He tells everybody that that's his mom's
Did
name.
he say there's no mess to clean up, right? Or no, because you last longer.
yeah, it just seems ridiculous. Like,
Yeah.
who wants to be there for
It's-
fucking 20 minutes jerking it? First of all, second of all,
It's
I get
called
the sex
training. It's called
aspect. Just
training.
grab a tissue though. Like, what's wrong with you?
In the man cave, like
Yeah, it's
I
weird.
know of
bong right next.
I
to
know
it,
of one person that does
Does
that.
this? Are you serious?
jerks off with a
I
condom.
know
Are
of
they,
one
are
person.
they a weirdo?
Not me.
Yes and
Wait,
no.
that jerks off with a condom on.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know anybody.
Not
That's
not
I
I guess it wasn't it's not like
I've used the thought.
habitual, but I know of somebody that's done it.
I wonder if they picked it up from this movie.
Oh, that's
that-
if
that
they've
habit.
done it like once, okay, whatever. But like if that's like a ritual for them, that's weird. Like
Didn't sound like it was ritual. It sounded like it was testing out a brand.
okay, whatever. Then yeah, that's different, I guess. But
Research. That's called research.
Research, yeah, you're right.
It's called research. You know, I just use the sock once in a while.
I just thought like other than like maybe it being some weird thing that they put in there that they thought was funny, like I didn't feel like that was realistic. I've
It's
never
not
heard of this.
realistic, yeah.
Yeah, I've never heard of this. That was my question to you guys. If you guys know anybody who did that, there you go.
I mean, I guess my
One
nightstand
person.
is considered my. I guess my nightstand is considered my jerk off table.
Yeah.
But no, I
Yeah.
mean, I don't have any condom. I mean, I do, but I don't use them. So I figure, hey, I wouldn't need them. I don't have too much info, but see, that
I was
nightstand
gonna
has
say
some
that was
lube and everything
probably
ready to
more
go.
than we needed to know, but all right.
You know what's weird that he has a bong there too, but I don't think there's a single scene in this movie where they smoke weed.
Yeah, it's on the nightstand, but they don't smoke.
They
weed
don't
at
smoke
all.
weed. I thought that was a little weird. I thought,
Yeah.
Well, why?
Do you think
Because
they
it's
would change
Jesus
the
Evil.
rating though? Is this PG or PG-13?
oh yeah, good point. Well, they
PG.
do say the F word.
This
a
is
few
PG.
times.
There you go. If there was drug use, it
Don't
would
they
have been
say
PG.
the F word a couple times?
Yeah.
13, yeah, but PG-13 is
Get
nothing.
away with that? PG-13.
I guess.
Call me MMA. No, it's actually rated R
Yeah, this is a rated
For
R film.
perversion.
Oh, I remember. This is a
Yeah.
rated R movie. Yeah.
for perversion. That's I
Oh,
don't.
this is
I,
talking about giving head. How is this a PG-13 movie? He's like talking about blowjobs
Yeah.
and shit.
Hey,
Like,
back in the
well,
day.
I mean,
maybe
nowadays
no
it
way,
might have been.
bro. No fucking
No,
way. Can you?
I would have think now it'd be more of a PG-13 movie.
What? How? He's
No.
talking about giving his wife. He's talking about giving his wife. He wants a blowjob from his wife. Like, that is not PG. No parent is taking their kid to see this shit. I'm telling
Did
you.
you guys have any questions for this?
No, well, I mean, I would think.
honestly.
I would think. Right now it'd be a little different. I mean, you get kids that are 16 and 17 that are going through stuff.
That's not a
And,
kid.
why
though.
not?
16 is not
Well,
a
that's
kid.
still teenager,
That's not a
still
PG.
PG-13. They would still
They
have
had
it
the
as
14A.
PG-13.
Remember
Or
the
what would they
14A
have?
rating,
M8?
the 18A. They have it like all sectioned off. Like 16 is like almost you could see a rated R movie almost basically. Like
Movie
Oh,
pairings.
they have the years. I said stuff like get him to the Greek and Sarah Marshall. I mean Friendship right away. I would say go watch Friendship after this one, right? And just see what you guys think of that one. I think that would be just a good spin-off of the total, like a total reverse. It really is
I'm good.
of Saturday Night Live character and just Paul Rudd, right?
Ooh.
So, I mean, in that sense, that's what I had for the pairings. I mean, in that, I would say Forgetting Sarah Marshall too, like you guys were saying.
Yeah, that's like the
Yes.
number one.
Yeah, I had both
You
of
know what I
those.
mean?
I had Friendship and I had Forgetting Sarah Marshall on my list too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Uh,
But Friendship was a given just because of just the sort of the way it plays out in a sense. A little bit different, a little bit more,
yeah.
like psycho-ish, like Nico was saying in the beginning.
So I had Forgetting Sarah Marshall for sure. I have 4-Year-Old Virgin. I think is also
Same. I
similar.
also had that. Yeah.
Just because they name dropped it, and this is the only reason I put it. Not Chocolat, but that could honestly apply too. But The Devil Wears Prada. He's like, oh, I love
Oh
that
yeah,
movie.
yeah.
No, I love that movie too. Honestly,
Me
Never seen it.
too.
never seen it?
No,
Oh, it's awesome.
no.
Wait, you've never seen it either, Julie?
No, I love that movie.
Oh yeah.
I,
That's
I,
awesome.
I think me and Nico probably haven't the only ones that haven't seen it. Then have you never
Oh, you
seen it,
haven't
Nico?
seen? Oh, it's a
I'm
good
not
one.
opposed to it. I just never watched it.
Yeah, Anne Hathaway, man. Meryl Streep. Meryl Streep is really
They're
good.
making
Man.
a sequel. I heard.
Oh, are they? Oh,
Yeah, it's confirmed.
nice. Um, and it's so funny because you mentioned it, but funny people because
Yeah.
like this, it also came out in 09, and I think it has like a similar story as far as like friends and the awkwardness of like making new friends and like later on and how they have like a
Yes, but
rift.
that one's a comedian perspective though. But
But
absolutely,
it's still like the friendship of it too. Like
also
they're
with the Sandler getting older type storyline. that they
yeah,
had.
and he doesn't.
Yeah.
He even says he doesn't have any friends in that movie.
By the
like,
way,
all his-
if it sounded like I didn't like that movie earlier, I like that movie a lot.
yeah, no,
But
you
I do think the first time, or even maybe the second time I watched it, I felt it was a tad bit long. But like you said, you felt like it was
I
that
felt-
was not the case.
no,
but
the first time I did feel that,
Okay.
and I actually saw that one. I saw in theaters, by the way.
I like that movie
and
a lot. I actually have learned to love that movie. I did
that
not
one-
like it at first.
The reason I didn't want to get into it is because it like turned into like a 10-minute conversation.
yeah, that's
because
fair.
to me, I do like the genre shift it goes into between
Yes.
comedy and then drama, and then
Yes.
him reeling back from first he has cancer, and then he comes back from cancer
Right.
recovery, and he realizes he's still a jerk off.
But I think
like,
you got to see that one a couple times to really see that.
yes, you do. A
yeah.
second and third watch is like
Because
necessary.
if not, it feels like they're just lost in the woods at a certain point in that film.
Me
Like, they're just
personally-
exploring like whatever storyline that's going.
Me
on
personally, I
there.
think it's Apatow's best movie. Me personally, I have
I
it
think
at number
40 version still for me.
Yeah.
but yeah, it's up there. It's up there.
Yeah.
Yeah. 40 version's still fucking hilarious to me. But, is that it for your pairings?
That's it.
I had role models as well. I also had Forgetting Sarah
Role Models
Marshall,
was a good one.
40 Virgin, and Friendship. A lot of comedies around here this period you can pair with, but then I was also trying to focus on some of the things about getting older and friendships and stuff like that as well. Role models I wrote down as well. Again, just more Paul Rudd around this period of time. I also wrote down Clerks 2 because Clerks 2 has a very great friendship arc in the end of the
Clutch
film.
pick.
Yeah, I love that part. It actually, I'm not, it actually gets me every time I watch that movie when they're both in jail and like he kind of pours his heart out to him. And that one character, he's such an asshole all the time. And he's saying the only reason like he was trying to do all this shit in the movie was because he's gonna miss him and because he's moving on with his life and he's dragging him down like that. Like that's just such a. Like, I really felt like what he said in that movie, like a lot. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I really like that movie, like that part, because it's all stupid, like Kevin Smith type jokes throughout the whole thing. I'm a fan of his. I'm just saying it's all like,
too.
Kevin Smith type humor. And then there's like a very real moment, like at the end of the movie. I feel like people don't talk about it. Like, I really like that movie. And also, This Is the End, because again, that's about friendship, but it's between Seth Rogen and Jay Baruchel's friendship and how Hollywood kind of fucked their friendship up for a while as a result of Rogan going out there and Baruchel staying in Canada and him not liking LA and not liking his LA friends. Like there's a lot of, I don't know if you guys ever heard about a lot of behind the scenes stuff about that film, but there was a lot of stuff that they put in that script that was true to real life.
Wow.
Like it was actually like, and all those people were actually friends with each other on that film, but there was moments even filming it apparently that they actually were having issues with one another, some of them. So like, and that just, I felt like it was a significant movie to the end of like the Apatow kind of Rogan run for the most part at that period of time. And that was a Rogan movie. That wasn't an Apatow movie either. But that's like, again, just all those guys, literally everybody's in that movie. Even just for a bit part in the party scene, I love that movie.
Jason Segel.
Yeah. Everyone shows
Michael
up in that.
Cera.
Michael Cera's in that. Jason Segel. Paul Rudd shows up as he's
Michael Cera's so
Ansari.
funny, bro.
Everybody's in that scene. Like everybody's at the party that's ever been in one of those films. Of
Paul Rudd's
those
in
guys.
that?
Yeah, for
He's
like
in
2
that?
minutes.
Oh,
He
really?
shows up late to the party and he's holding like this big.
Oh yeah.
gift, and that's when the hole opens up in the ground and he
Yeah.
like falls in. So yeah, I love This Is the End as
Mm-hmm.
well. So like that's also I think a very good pairing because at the end of the day, it's about the friendship between those two characters in that movie as well. So yeah, Julie, your favorite category?
I didn't drone on too much with this one, but basically you could watch any Judd Apatow movie as a pairing.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah,
I also wrote down Step Brothers. I
Yeah,
wrote down Wedding Crashers. I
love
wrote
that.
down Dinner for Schmucks.
Yeah.
And my personal favorite from this era of comedy movies, it's not necessarily like an adjacent pick as far as like thematic, but a little bit, but like it just reminds me of the same era and it is just like a guilty pleasure movie for me a bit. Just Friends.
Oh, I like that movie.
Just Friends. I
That's
don't even think I know
that's
that.
the Ryan Reynolds one, right? Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
that
when
one's
he's
good.
trying to bang the
Yeah,
like the hot girl
Anna
from
Faris. Anna Faris is in it, and what's her name?
I think I have seen
Smart
that
or
movie.
whatever. Yeah, that I
Amy
like that
Smart,
movie. I like
yeah.
that movie a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Uh,
Yeah, that's fair. I get what you're saying, but like thematically, it's not like exactly the same, but it's of this era for sure.
It just reminds me of that era of
earlier,
the
if
comedy
I'm-
stuff.
yeah, for sure. That's what I didn't even realize too, because I Love You Man coming in 2009. That's almost like 10 years later on a lot of these films, like this run of movies, right? Because I was looking up the IMDb. A lot of those earlier things I was mentioning,
Which ones?
are like early 2000s. A lot of them, like even
4-Year-Old Virgin.
yeah, that Anchorman. Like, there's a lot of those that are like mid 2000s and stuff like that.
I feel like 4-Year-Old Virgin is like the big bang of because it was like his
Pretty
first
much,
movie, right?
yeah,
Like
yeah.
it was like the one that kinda...
Also, the fact that Steve Carell after that went on to do The Office and he didn't continue to do movies with those guys is pretty crazy too, because like he could have easily just been like, but he went and did The Office, which is awesome. Like, you know what I mean? So like, I'm really happy about that actually. So, and then he kind of had a career after that without them. Actually, one of my favorite movies with him is Crazy Stupid Love. I really like that movie with him and Ryan Gosling. That's a good one.
Yeah.
But yeah. All right. Legacy, Jay. What'd you have for Legacy?
It's a good, all like I said, comedy, friendship of what it's like to get up, to get older, to see your friends slowly moving away from and doing other things with their lives, and losing touch and stuff with people. I mean, I think we've all gone through that in a certain way or another. I think there's a lot of people out there that have gone through that. It's nice to know that this was about a man, like about men. I hate to say it because everything's always about men, but fucking that it kind of brings to light that it is kind of hard. It is a scenario that doesn't, if you don't fit in with that friend group, it can be really, and if you don't have friends at all, if you're too busy and you make time for school and work and you don't think of anything like that, then you tend to forget what it's even like to have friends. And I can see where that's sort of a legacy to take from this movie and leave behind. And I mean, obviously the acting was great too, and you can take that away from this movie, the comedy, the acting, and all this, and how far these guys went afterwards, right, with their careers and stuff like that too. But I mean, just a good watch if you just want to sit there and have a good laugh instead of tearing up to watching one of those bromance coms or whatever you want to call them, or romance. They're like Max likes to watch his
How many times are you gonna mention that, bro? Holy shit!
his rom-coms, because I'm waiting for you to pick one, bro. That's all. But yeah, so that's what I take from this one. And,
Hey, I picked one already.
I hope it's left behind.
Oh yeah, High Fidelity.
Yeah, that counts.
Yeah, I guess it does. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
So I think, yeah.
Nice. I well put. I have nothing to add to that. That you pretty much said it all. Like, I think the friendship thing, the comedy era, absolutely. Yeah.
And to play a normal guy in this role, and especially when you're not, you're a comedian and stuff, it's hard to play that sort of that nervous role, and it's just really good. As a guy too, you don't realize that sometimes you can be lonely not having any friends, right? So
Yep.
yeah, I think like anybody, right?
Yep.
But yeah, it is a little harder. So
Well, there you
uh,
go. Well
I don't
said.
know. I don't know if any of you guys else have anything to add to that, but
No, that's you pretty much cover what I had to say about it too. Yeah, you killed it there. There you go, Jay. This was Jay's
I
pick. Good job. Go
I
ahead,
wrote
Julie.
down it's just like a realistic look into the trials and tribulations of the awkwardness of trying to make friends as an adult, like make new friends as an adult, especially among men.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
kind of
And I
like
basically said that in the stupid terms, but yeah, I basically said the same thing. Right?
I just
Uh,
summarized it for you.
As long as you didn't say this was interesting for the legacy, then I'm good. I'm happy.
I don't think he said it once during the whole episode.
No, you did good. You did good, Jay. There you go. Let's give it up to Jay.
But it
And
was interesting.
who showed up? The surprise appearance.
Give a pity clap for myself
episode.
too. No, and I thank Max for showing up. Whether if he was playing this fucking game or not with me the whole time, but yeah,
no.
thank you,
I
Max,
mean,
for showing
I
up. Bro.
don't know, like I don't know if the public cares
I
about
love
the
you, man.
fucking drama or whatever, but if you can even call it that, it was just shit talking. But yeah, no, I felt bad because I missed all of your picks, bro. So I was like, let me do this for you, bro. I love you, man.
I picked one bad pick that he didn't like, and that was it. Fucking no, he's like, never again. I'm coming back to
Oh,
JT's
what are you talking
picks.
about? I came for your next pick right after. I went for actually, holy shit, was that the last pick I went for?
Beach
I think
Bum,
Beach Bum was the last pick that I
one,
saw.
yeah.
But I like that movie. So, yeah, it's
Well,
all good.
and I thought too, I just flip it up for a comedy too, right? Like, I mean, we're getting we get so in depth with these other movies, and they're a lot more crazier discussions. It's hard to have a good discussion because, with comedies, in a sense that it's mostly quotable stuff and
Yeah.
interesting scenes, and sometimes
We-
hard to get through,
We
right?
still
Because it's
managed
so
to hit
funny.
our 2-hour mark. We always find a way. There you go. So that being said, great pick, Jay. Good job.
Yeah.
And Max has the next pick, actually.
Right.
So go ahead.
So I figured, I guess, since like a new Superman movie is on the horizon, I'm gonna do Man of Steel. And
Bro, just watch that.
has anyone seen it yet? By the way, in preparation
Yeah,
for
watch.
No, I don't mean like I'm talking about in
No, I'm
preparation
watching it
for
this week. Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. In my mind, I was like, "Yo, should I do like something like Canadian related because it's also Canada Day?" And then there was like, yeah, I don't know. I was just like struggling in my mind, like what to pick. I know we were
Yeah.
trolling. I was trolling JT a bit. I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna do a foreign
Yeah.
film and whatever." But yeah, you know what? I'm confident. Yeah, I'm gonna do Man of Steel. Zack Snyder's Man of Steel that came out in 2013.
It's our first superhero movie.
That I noticed
Yeah,
that
yeah,
actually.
yeah,
I was
yeah,
gonna
yeah.
say like this
It's
is
our
gonna
first
be our
superhero
first
movie, which is kind of funny just because it's a big part of my
yeah. I mean,
movie
look
going.
where
A
we
lot of
are right
people's
now.
movie
We're in the
experience.
comic book
Yeah,
layer and
yeah,
stuff,
yeah,
and
yeah.
I know Julie picked V for Vendetta last summer, which is a comic book
That's
movie.
true. That's true.
But
I
I
just
think
never.
this is
I
the
don't think.
first traditional like superhero movie, right? Is that fair to say?
I believe so. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
so-
don't think we've ever done another one. Yeah, like that. You're right. That is.
I love
Which I'm a little
Superman, too.
surprised, by the way, that you haven't picked like Marvel or something like.
Yeah, I feel like I do watch them and talk about them enough. Like I feel like that we have just never thought of picking one for the show.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. But no, that's good. A good pick. Man of Steel, Zack Snyder. Is that 2013?
2013.
Yeah, there you go. So it's,
I think it'll be an interesting conversation.
yeah. Plus, it's like you said, the new Superman, the James Gunn is film is on the horizon. Yeah,
Yeah,
so
and
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. All right.
Is that this weekend or next weekend?
What, the Superman movie?
Yeah.
July 11th.
Oh, it's July 11th. I
Yeah,
thought it was
July
June.
11th, yeah.
Okay,
Down the line.
Okay.
July.
Yeah. Yeah,
Like a
Jay's
couple
got it in his calendar.
Yeah,
And,
Superman's my favorite, man.
I know.
I love him too.
And stay tuned. I think we are going to probably be discussing that and possibly a comic book along with it at that point. A Superman comic book that's related to. Apparently, it's part inspiration for the film, which is
For the new
good.
one coming
that's
out,
right.
yeah.
So, yeah, good stuff. Yeah. So, but yeah, look forward to that, guys. Next episode. Make sure to like and subscribe. Man of Steel will be on the next one. And yeah, this is episode 62. I love you, man. Jay, any final words, anyone?
No, just I love you, man.
I love you, Man of Steel.
I love you, Broham. Julie, come on, get in
Alright.
on this.
Later, Toots Magoots.
Julie's like, no.
Julie's like,
Has Julie frozen?
I
or-
think so.
Oh, okay. Or I thought she was just like
Screw you guys.
just nailing
Now
the
she's just
deadpan.
acting frozen. All right, guys. See you later.
oh,
Holy shit, that's trippy.
peace out.
Say